You said feminism is neutral.
Here's what actually happened.
The foundation of all knowledge.
I'm really mad that
what difference does it make, right? What
Stop.
The deregulation of the industry is obviously going to cause more of that industry.
And to lubricate the trust connection between people until they have enough.
Yet we could still look at biological reality in determining who's a female, even if there are.
Why don't you denounce feminism the same way you're denouncing capitalism? If you don't...
For something to be objective, it needs to be verifiable. And you can't verify...
If I make a claim as a political pundit, it is true that I definitely could be wrong. You're promoting, right?
Ideology is the main tenet of politics, right? This is my ideology.
So, 2015, anyone go back and watch the footage? The first GOP debate.
Cool, Robert. Oh, that? With a crowbar, you say?
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I am Sara, the Raging Tomato, bringing to you another live debate. I have with me Josie Marcellino. Did I say it right? Is it Marcellino? Okay.
Technically Marcellino, but I'll give you Marcellino.
I wanted to say Marcellino. I was thinking that too. But anyways, Josie Marcellino and, of course, Andrew Wilson from the Crucible, both here to debate the fact that the U.S. should remain secular, feminism is good, and, Andrew is a grifter. This evening, we're going to start with the grifting topic and move on through the other two. Josie, would you like to deliver your opening statement, please?
Yes, thank you. So tonight, I'm discussing a few things with Andrew Wilson. While secularism and feminism are points upon which we disagree, and I look forward to the discussion that we'll have about those two topics. The reason that we're here tonight is because I publicly called Andrew Wilson a grifter, and I stand by that statement. So, I'm not here to argue whether or not Andrew is lying about his political ideologies, and I will not argue whether or not he's got Christ in his heart. When you go to receive your judgment, it's not me who's going to be standing in front of you. However, to win a debate traditionally, you make your arguments in front of a judge or panel and then try to determine whose arguments were more persuasive and well supported through evidence. That judge or panel is meant to be neutral. Debates are traditionally meant to sway those who are on the fence or convert others to your side of thinking. In informal debates, that is not the case. In formal debates, there are rules for speaking and decorum. Informal debates are not seeking to discover truth. They are simply just to be right. They are to own the other side. Andrew's own courses, Verbal Combat or Debate University, in name alone give a false sense of prestige, credibility, and expert-level knowledge. Psychologically, Jesus, it derives trust and postures him as a leader or authority figure. This is not something that is unique to Andrew. It is a truth for virtually everyone in this new age debate bro era of informal debate and online discourse, and that applies to people on both sides of the aisle. Andrew is no different from Brian Atlas, Destiny, Myron Gaines, Dean Withers, Charlie Kirk, or Hassan Piker. A grifter is defined as somebody who uses deception to deprive people of money or possessions. Now, I am not arguing that Andrew's grift is in his beliefs or his ideologies. I am arguing that the grift of Andrew is that he is benefiting from the sham that is modern informal debate. Andrew is monetized across all platforms. His YouTube happily accepts donations, and for the one-time price of just $249, you can become a you can purchase his verbal combat course and become extra insufferable at all family holidays. The purpose of debate is traditionally to further exchange ideas, sometimes conflicting ideas, and to work towards progress. Formally, excuse me, sorry. I may need my glasses at some point because I am blind and I am reading my notes. Forgive me. In the sport of these live social media debates, the objective is not progress. It is just to win, as I mentioned, by owning your opponent. It is to create drama for clicks and curate algorithmic gotchas. As per the recent studies published by the NIH Library of Medicine, consuming this type of content does more harm than good to the viewer. There has been a particular uptick in reported cases of anxiety, depression, suicidal ideation on both sides of the aisle. Reported feelings of isolation and distrust are skyrocketing. You are writing a prescription for a problem that you are manufacturing. Now, obviously, I am sat here engaging in this very thing that I am disavowing. I am not a political commentator. I am not a seasoned debater. I am a comedian. I am actually letting down my own audience tonight who wants nothing more than to see me call you a big gay dildo and then rub the olive jar moment in your face. But that is not my plan for this evening. I am not here as a comedian. I am not monetizing from this stream in any capacity. I am not making a move to be a figure in the debate space. My only objective tonight is to pull the curtain and show the audience what this really is, which is just a money grab. I have no intention to operate in this space or be a political pundit moving forward. The fact that Andrew is here and willing to debate me is evidence of this grift in and of itself. I have said things about Andrew Wilson before, publicly, on whatever, on Twitter, on various forms of social media. I've said things about Andrew, and he has never engaged back. It was not until one person with 5 followers tried to appeal to Andrew, and then I tried to very directly tell this person, he does not care about you. This is not, he doesn't actually care about his audience. He's not your crusader. He's not trying to help you. It wasn't until I made that point and made that curtain pull that Andrew then decided to acknowledge one of my statements and challenge me to this debate. The fact that you would waste your time on an unseasoned, inexperienced debater, someone who is not in this space, is evidence that you are just looking to own your opponent and to clip farm through this. So that is my opening statement. I'm excited to see what we're going to have in front of us tonight. I will yield the rest of my time.
Thank you, Josie. And Andrew, to you, please.
That's it. Like that. Are you sure?
Yeah.
You got all that time, and those were the points that you wanted to make?
There will be more points. We have a 2-hour discussion ahead of us.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's only 30 minutes. So you're sure you can bring up whatever you want, like whatever you want. You can bring up in your opening. You still got plenty of time. You sure?
No, I'm sure we can end that part there. I don't need to just ramble on and give you a speech. Discussion.
Okay, so I guess we'll go through it one point at a time. She defines a grifter as somebody who deprives people of money through nefarious means. I don't see how me having a debate course people ask me to make for them does that. Sounds like somebody's asking me for a product. I created the product and then I sell the product. And now, if it were the case that I was selling a product and then wasn't delivering on the product, that would be depriving people of their money through nefarious means. And I would say that, yeah, that would probably entail grifting of some kind. She also makes some kind of ridiculous statement. She says a judge or a panel in a formal debate needs to rule who wins. It's not the case. Most of the time, judges in formal debates are actually there in order to keep the debate on track, just like in informal debates where you have a moderator. She says an informal debate isn't there to discover truth, but that's exactly what it's there to do. The thing is right now, the entire inquisition that she's giving me on being a grifter is for her to try to tell my audience what she believes is the truth, right? So she negates her own opening statement immediately. She says, for $249, you can purchase Debate University. That's true, but I just want to let you know when I launched it, it was $500. We sold a lot of courses. I'd only recently lowered the price since Christmas because I'm a really nice guy. She says the objective of a debate isn't progress. It's designed to own the opposition. The truth is that we live in a world in which people have very, very small attention spans. Because of this, in order to kind of grip them into the things that you're trying to relay to them, and by the way, comics do the same thing. They release bits of themselves, kind of highlight reels of the things that they do and the things that they actually said which were funny, in order to put that out so that people can find them and watch more content from them. They are not, and I guarantee my opponent's done this. I'm sure if you go to her own channel, she'll probably have very short videos of her, which are designed to put her in the best possible light so that people will come and check out her comedy and content. She's guilty of the exact same thing she's accusing me of. She also says that she has a study, but I want you to actually produce a study, and here's why. Something I'd like to point out is that most people who produce studies, especially in debates, haven't actually read them. I would like to actually ask my opponent directly, and I'll give her just a very quick amount of time here because it's still my opening statement, to just answer this truthfully, right? Did you actually read the study, yes or no, or did you just read a synopsis of the study?
I read the study.
Okay.
Both of the studies.
And how many pages is the study?
I read it through the web browser of the
Yeah,
NIH.
how many pages was it?
Well, it was just I scrolled through the study.
How many pages was it though?
I wasn't looking at the
Was
page.
it more than 50?
Scrolled.
Maybe more than 50? 100?
I didn't
Yeah, you didn't read the study.
count.
Okay, so anyway,
I did. There's just no
I just want to point out, back to my opening statement here, right? That guarantee you that she just told you first lie of the night. By the way, she snuck in a personal attack right away, right? I just really want to call Andrew a pink dildo. I really just want to call her a stupid fat bitch. But you know, the thing is like, I guess we can reserve our opening statements, and we can do this one of two ways, right? It can either go off the rails and we can determine who's better at the insult flame war. Guarantee you I'll win that. Or you can stick to the content. It's totally and completely up to you, right? But considering the fact that it looks like you still are addicted to the fork, I would be very cautious about going down that road. By the way, no evidence at all of any grifting whatsoever. She says he's trying to waste his time with an unseasoned debater. Actually, that would prove that I'm not a grifter, that I do think that the ideology can get out, including to whoever her audience is. The fact that I'm willing to engage with her, and I engage with, quote, nobodies all the time, including on Twitter. I have no idea where she's even trying to go with that exactly. So so far, I haven't seen any evidence of grifting. All I've seen is a bit of personal incredulity. Andrew Wilson have course, sell course, therefore grift. Very strange. I don't see why it's a problem for me to create a course that highlights various debate skills that people seem to want and are willing to pay for. So with that, I'm willing to dive right into it. Just remember, it's up to you how the debate goes. It's up to you.
Thank you so much, Andrew. And as a kind reminder to the audience, we're going to get through the Andrew is a grifter portion of the debate. Then we will move into secularism and then feminism. Of course, we will get through the debate, go into closing statements, and then read and respond to your kind super chats. Thank you so kindly. Of course, as always, tomato tradition, we will go into open panel afterwards, but I know we will be kind of on a time crunch as far as the debate is concerned. Josie and Andrew, I leave the floor open to you.
Yeah, so how does me having a debate course give evidence of grifting exactly?
Okay, so why did you name your course Debate University?
Well, because the idea there was to follow up with more courses for debate that I could sell for a profit in the future.
So there was no intention behind naming it university to maybe foster a sense of trust or imply a level of expertise.
I think it rolls off the tongue well.
And the whole verbal combat. Why did you choose to go with a theme of war or fighting?
Yeah, so a lot of my debate style comes from there's a sequence of old books, especially written by prison guards, who express and explain the ideas behind what is called verbal combat. What verbal combat is, and combat no contact, is that you're always, when you're engaging with opposition and engaging with ideas, you're in a form of mental combat. That's what's going on. And so The reason prison guards obviously do it is because they want to defuse situations so that they don't escalate. If those situations escalate, their very safety is at risk. I was always a big fan of that because I think ideologically that's also true between the left and the right, that these are very high stakes conversations. Ultimately, they do change minds and that they do have effects in society. And it is a war and it is combat with no contact.
You feel that this is combat, that this is a verbal war.
That the ideology between the left and the right, yes, it is war, yes.
But the discussion between you and me, you feel that this is combative.
Well, the
and
debate course isn't called, how to debate with unfunny comedians. The debate course is called verbal combat. The idea behind it is the left-right dialectic and how to engage with progressives and feminists in debate and beat them. And yes, I do think that is an ideological war, and it's been going on for a long time.
And so who are your famous or political, or who are your famous graduates? I'll frame it that way. We'll keep the university theme.
You don't get diplomas. It's not a diploma mill. You just you can buy the course and watch it. There's there's no certificate. There's no graduates. And by the way, it was never framed as being that ever.
You don't think that university implies that there's some sort of course completion or certification that comes with it?
There's nothing like that in the course. Never
right. So you think that the word university in and of itself doesn't imply that?
Do you assume that people who are interested in debating with opposition using their verbal IQ are so fucking stupid that they're going to be fooled by the word university inside of a slogan to get them to buy a debate course? You just think that they're really fucking stupid and that you're really smart? Like, you wouldn't be fooled, of course, just them, the stupid plebs in my audience. They're just too dumb to understand that even though this was marketed as a way in which you could tango with somebody ideologically and win, that somehow they're going to be fooled into thinking they get a diploma in what? How to debate kind of better? Like, what do you think that they're being fooled by here?
I think they're being fooled into thinking that, okay, well, if I learn from Andrew Wilson, if I buy his course, I'm going to be an expert. I'm going to know how to be an expert debater. That's what it's going to be. So maybe not necessarily a physical diploma, but certainly that they would have.
Have you watched the course?
I'm not giving you $249, Andrew.
Okay. So the answer is no?
Yeah, of course it's no.
Okay, so then if you don't even know what the content is or what's expressed in the course or how things are described to the people in the course, this is not a classroom style where you have a chalkboard. This is me expressing the laws of logic. I brought in multiple logicians who were expert apologists to walk through the format of logical debate online. And thus far, I've gotten a very, very positive response from people who have viewed it.
And
I don't know what to tell you.
What have those people gone on to do? What have they accomplished?
Well, many of them debate pretty prominently online. Many of them right here on this very channel that you're on right now. There's been dozens and dozens of them who it seems to have helped them quite a bit. I get many emails from people who say it seemed to have helped them quite a bit in their personal lives when it came to dealing with their boss, coworkers, things like this. I was surprised. I didn't even know that would be a potential side outcome for the course, but apparently it was. This was really just focused on how to engage in ideological verbal combat across ideological lines and how to prepare people who have my ideology for that if they had interest in it. And it appears that it worked very well.
Can you name any of the seasoned debaters that you have educated?
You mean the ones that go on this program?
I've personally never seen this program. I don't know their names.
Well, then how would you know if I named them and I was lying or not? You should take my course and then you wouldn't fall into those traps.
I'm saying you can name if they're...
Oh, sure. John, Jill, Jack, Jim, Fred, Chuck, Terry. Go ahead and refute that I'm lying. Prove it. Prove that I'm lying. Prove it.
But no household names, no major names in the debate space. Nothing like that.
Well, what does it take? What's a major name in the debate space? What would you
I would argue that your name would be a major name in the debate space.
Yeah, so people have been at this for years and years and years. And do you think that this course was marketed as though if you took it, you were going to be launched into prominence on YouTube for your debate skills. Do
Well,
you honestly think that?
I mean, again, the word university would imply that if you complete it, you would gain some sort of level of expertise.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't imply that.
That is actually what the word
the
university would imply. Yeah.
No, it
The
literally
university-
doesn't imply that. All that the university would imply is that there's some level here of learning that's going on, not that there would be a level of expertise that goes on after you're done learning whatever the said thing is. For
Oh, but that's
instance, you
not
can
what
have an introduction to debate, which I have, for instance. Why would that entail that you would instantly have some sort of higher level of expertise? All it would mean is that you receive some form of education on something. That's it.
Well, then why not debate elementary school?
It's not as catchy.
I would argue that it would be more appropriate if it's
Why?
just
How would you know? You haven't watched the course. How the hell do you
By your
know?
own- by
Like,
your
how
own-
do you know?
by your own admission.
Okay,
Just
well,
now,
look. Let me ask
you're
you
not
if you
gonna get-
here. Let's find out if this holds muster.
Sure.
If I ask you what are the 3 laws of logic? Can you tell me?
No.
No. Can I? If I ask you what are metaphysics? Can you tell me?
No.
Can you tell me what epistemology is?
That is the knowing like what the truth is and the difference between a belief and or an opinion.
No, but it's still. I mean, it's still a good try. I'm not going to beat you up about it. But what about ontology?
No.
No. Okay. So the thing is like these are very basic forms of philosophy that most people kind of leave on the table. But if you had checked out the course, you would know that I brought in experts, guys who do have PhDs, like David Patrick Harry and others who are famous Christian apologists. And they sit down and go over what all of those terms mean, why they mean those things, and how you can apply them to your knowledge base. And it helps to equip you in the future if you are having ideological combat with a leftist, especially from a Christian paradigm.
But without any kind of measure or metric of expertise at the end of it, without some sort of guaranteed level of if you have completed this, this is the knowledge that you will have, and this is the level at which you will be able to debate, without giving that level of accreditation to it.
Accreditation from whom?
I mean, there are accredited, like the actual debate societies in America are accredited.
Do you think that I'm running some kind of actual polished college or something that you have a 4-year degree or an associate's degree at? Or did I market that I would build out a course that's roughly 7 hours that would assist you with debating ideologies online? Because I'm pretty confident that that's what I marketed.
No,
now, if
but
you
that
have
was-
evidence that I marketed something besides that, I would like to hear it and see it, but I'm 100% confident that that's exactly what I marketed and that that's exactly what people are buying.
I don't believe that you are dumb enough to think that your words don't hold meaning. And I don't believe that you
Well, I don't
just
think you're
use-
dumb enough to think, well, don't all words hold meaning?
Of course. But I'm saying I don't
No, go
I'm
ahead.
saying that I don't think that you chose verbal combat and framed things as a war. I don't think that you chose university just willy-nilly because it, rolled
I
off
didn't.
the tongue.
I just gave you an accounting, which is completely reasonable. I told you exactly where verbal combat came from. I told you exactly what the inspiration for that was. I did tell you that I believe that there's a grounded ideological war going on between the right and the left and between these ideological paradigms. And that course will assist you if you are engaging in those ideological paradigms, which more and more people are. It'll assist you in crafting your arguments for those paradigms. That's the way it was marketed. That's the way it's always been marketed. If you can tell me what's actually wrong with that, I'd like to know.
Sure. It's that when you phrase things in terms of combat or in terms of war, you actually trigger the fight or flight response of your audience.
Good.
You don't honestly believe that the right and the left are at a war outside of social media. There's
I
no
just
way.
want to let you know, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, okay?
Mhm.
But the left has, from my view, murdered an entire generation of human beings, murdered them. and is currently right now fighting on the streets in order to get the right to murder more of them. Do I honestly believe that? Not a joke, not kidding. From my paradigm, they literally kill babies by the million, by the millions. Do I think that that's a war, a spiritual war, and an ideological war? You bet your fucking ass I do. Do I think that there's an ideological battle which is going on when the assessors of these paradigms try to describe for me that you, a female, are every bit as much only a woman as the male who puts on a wig and pretends that they're you? Do you think I don't think that these are ideological battlefields? You're out of your fucking mind. Not only do I believe that 100%, but it can demonstrate it to you. I can demonstrate right now that we have been in basically an ideological Cold War for somewhere north of 60 fucking years. Yes, 100% I believe it. Not only do I believe it, but I wanted to equip people with some way to combat that, some way to do that better, because I happen to be very good at it. It's a skill I have.
Well, in fairness, I do think that you probably believe that abortion is murder. And I will agree that you believe that that part is actually violent and at the same level of a war. Fine. I won't try to say that you don't. If you are genuinely a Christian, you probably do believe that. What is this?
So then you just made a concession. So you just made a concession there that I believe that we're in an ideological war.
On that one topic, yes.
Yeah, so I think that leftists are doing everything in their power to destroy Christianity from the ground up. I think that that's their entire goal. I think that we can see it in the models of the NGOs that give millions and millions of dollars to leftist infiltration units whose entire job is to go in and give retraining to clergy. I've covered this many, many times on my stream and given the NGOs out and shown the evidence for this. Do I think that that's ideological in nature? Yes, I do. Do I think that this is a battle? I do think it's a battle. Do I think that because we're not using guns and ammo and bombs and tanks, it's any less of a war? I do not.
I think that you're lying through your teeth.
Prove it.
Well, I mean, you have a tell of raising your eyebrows a specific way when you seem to get.
Oh, you're going to use psychology? When I raise my eyebrow, it's a tell of a lie. Okay, well here, hang on. Let's see. You're a beautiful woman.
That's not the way you were raising your eyebrows.
Sorry.
That's not the way you were raising your eyebrows to be the tell. But all I'm saying is that it's, as the average human, I can see through a crock of shit when I hear it. It's very obvious.
Nice.
Okay,
this is what's called an argument from incredulity. It's perfectly acceptable for me to believe that you believe that I'm full of shit. But your job right now is not to tell me what you believe. Your job right now is to demonstrate that that is the case. And I'm willing 100% to engage with whatever it is you bring to the table to actually demonstrate that you think that I'm lying. But this has been consistent with my online presence since I was fucking, I don't know, in my late 20s.
So then why do you not get involved in actual politics, actual like on the ground politics? Why do you not run for anything?
Well, first of all, I'll tell you a couple things that I've experienced here, learning from different creators, especially. One, it does not transfer over well. Being very popular online doesn't necessarily transfer over very well to popularity in the mainstream. If you're a big movie star, perhaps like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Jesse Ventura, people like this, that can transfer over fairly well. You're a household name. When it comes to online popularity, however, that does not transfer over well for grassroots. And there's many content creators who've gone that route, like Sargon of Akkad, for instance, went that route. Destiny went that route when he tried to do canvassing campaigns, and many other did. And it was an abysmal failure, even though they're very popular online. It's very possible, I know you've probably never thought about this, but the translation of the skill set that I have may not translate well to IRL politics, but may translate well to informing IRL politics.
So you put in absolutely no work outside of just these online debates and streams for your ideology. That's your form of engaging.
I didn't say that at all. I engage with politicians all over the place, assist them with arguments. I've assisted with grassroots campaigns, which have been spearheaded largely by a guy who works for me named Rob Knorr, who interacts with the RNC on a regular basis. And we've helped to change a lot of the conversation when it comes to this. But that and me being a skillful IRL politician are two very different things. Do you realize that politicians, for instance, have political strategists? They have speech writers. They have rhetorical trainers. They have people who assist them in all aspects of political strategy. It's not just Andrew's really good and informed on politics, and so therefore he'll be a good politician. It doesn't always transfer over that way. And by the way, nobody's better at knowing my skill set than me. Certainly not you.
I mean, I've seen your display of skills online. So
have you?
I've seen more than I'd like, but why not hire those people? If you want to enact change, why not hire them? No, I'm saying why not hire
anything else? I did hire them. What do you mean?
Why not hire a political strategist? Why not hire a speech writer?
I did hire one. What do you mean?
Oh, so then why not make your foray into politics?
Because people go where they're effective.
And you wouldn't be an effective leader. You wouldn't be effective in politics.
Now you're conflating things. You think that leadership can only be confined to the political, but it's not. And the thing is, that's funny here. That's interesting, especially, is that why do I need to confine myself to the ideas of what you have for politics when clearly you don't know much about politics? I just walked you through. There's a multitude of skill sets that people have that would be applicable to the worldview. Some people are very good at being in front of cameras, IRL, and, kind of delivering the rhetoric that way. They're very likable, perhaps. They have all sorts of various skill sets which would gravitate people towards them. But they also need people to craft arguments, to be supportive influencers, et cetera, et cetera. So just because I'm on one front of the ideological battle and not directly on the political front doesn't mean I'm not engaged on the political front. That's just absurd.
Would you argue that there are some people in this world that set a goal for themselves that they can never achieve? Would you say that that's a thing that happens pretty often?
They set a goal for themselves that they can never achieve.
And that they know that they can never achieve, but they sort of make that their long-term end goal.
I don't know if I believe that or not.
Okay. I would argue that it's true. There's a lot of people that...
Can you demonstrate it through something other than an assertion?
Sure. There's one of the talking points of the whole anti-feminist movement. So there are women who say that feminism is cancer and they want to end the vote of the women in the West. That's never going to happen. They have
Why
to know
not?
that
Why won't it ever happen?
because of what we have in place just within our democracy. That's not something that
Do you
we're going
realize
to
that suffrage, universal suffrage, is a new idea?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Why? So it's very convenient for status quo individuals to say that such things like this will never be repealed or contracted. When we look at Roe v. Wade, which was also part of the status quo and it was overturned. Political ideologies change cross-generationally. And we're moving into a new series of generations as the boomers die off. I don't think you should feel as secure in the idea of suffrage as you seem to think you should. That's not what the political current is, at least that I see.
Roe v. Wade was not inscribed in the Constitution. Women's suffrage is. It's much harder to overturn an actual amendment.
So was slavery.
Yes. And then it was
and then it was exactly. And so was prohibition. The ban on alcohol was also inscribed in the Constitution. Women got that pushed through long before they ever had the right to vote. They were able to because they were set in a moral high ground, they weren't just political cogs, they were able to actually get an amendment passed long before they could ever vote. Isn't that interesting? So the thing is, it's really funny about this is like you can point to constitutional amendments and say it's inscribed in the Constitution, but remember, it's not really. It's an amendment to the Constitution. The Constitution's been amended many times and it'll be amended many more.
If we start to branch this way, then we're going to move into secularism and away from.
Well, I would like to finish the discussion before we get to.
I would agree with that.
Before we get to your lack of understanding of the source material of feminism, I would like for you to just go ahead and demonstrate in very simple words why it is that you think I'm a grifter, because is your only evidence, your only compelling evidence that you think that I used university in debate university, and that the people who buy the course are so fucking stupid that they think that they're going to get some kind of actual accredited degree because of that, and that therefore they're being fleeced and that it was marketed this way? Or are you saying something besides that?
I am saying something besides that.
Okay. What are you saying then? Make it
I am
clear for
saying,
me.
okay. I am saying that this framing that these online informal debates creates is that we are at this war, the left and the right. Everybody's at each other's throats and we're incredibly polarized. And I have had the privilege of traveling the country and also the world for my job. And that is by and large not the case. That is not what is happening on the streets and in day to day. It certainly is what's happening online in these spaces because they are very satisfying to the algorithm.
Yeah, I actually
It's
agree
high
with
drama.
that point, that in your day-to-day interactions, things will seem like they're completely normal. They also did in war-torn France during World War II and in Nazi Germany. The entire nation's at war, and the ideologies are so incredibly over the top that you have rise of brand new ones like fascism and others. But in the day-to-day lives of the people inside of the state, not much changed until it
I'm,
does.
I'm saying
Until it does.
I'm saying that the ideologies of the people are not at this high stakes level of war, and it's not these intensely polarizing communities.
Well, forgive me if I don't believe that you're having intense ideological discussions with your friends and people, randoms that you meet on the street. I don't believe that that's the case because I don't even think it's possible. I don't think you're meeting random people on the street who are going about their day shopping and doing the various activities people do in their daily life and stopping them and saying, hey, by the way, do you think that ideologically leftists have killed millions of people through abortion? I don't believe that you're asking them that. And I think you would be shocked to hear the answers because pollsters do ask them that. And so the thing is like, while it's true that there's something called the normalcy bias, right? And you saw this during COVID-19. The normalcy bias, people will try to interact as they've always interacted, even as the world around them is falling apart.
So you're incorrect in that assumption. That is exactly what I do. That is what I do for my day
Okay,
job.
show me where I can see that. Show me some evidence of that.
Due to my NDA, I cannot reveal the shows that
Well,
I've
that's
done
awful
before.
convenient, isn't it?
That's just the reality. I'm not willing to risk my job for this.
Yeah, well, that's awful convenient that you say I do thing, but could never demonstrate to you that I do.
Once I move on from this particular show, I am happy to come back and let you know what the show was. But while I work on it, I'm not allowed to say what it is.
Well, whatever the show is, where people are going out and asking about ideologies, if it is the case that you think that ideologies are not polarized right now in 2025, then you're just simply not telling the truth.
No, I am telling the truth, but that's what I'm saying is that
well, then how come every single pollster and every single political commentator seems to disagree with you based on the current data of the people that they poll and what it is that they believe? Why is it that it's so ideologically brutal right now that we're waiting for constitutional crises? Why is Trump sending the military into various states? It doesn't appear that things are nearly so ideologically stable as you seem to be pretending.
For the average person, it is. The average person all wants the same things at the end of the day. We all basically want the same things. We all have the same things that we're striving for. We're not actually that divided. That's my whole point, is that these online informal debates are fostering that divide. It's just pushing it forward. It's making you think this person is, this side, this ideology is out to get you. And I am the only one, Andrew Wilson, can sell you a course so that you're equipped with mental and verbal armor. I'll give you the verbal grenades to go ahead and launch at your opponents. When in reality, it's not that. It's not. Nobody is actually benefiting from your ideological armor. It's just not happening, Andrew. Let's be real with each other.
Can you demonstrate it?
I can demonstrate that what you are arguing just doesn't happen in the real world. It only happens here online.
Then demonstrate it.
How would you like me to demonstrate it, Andrew?
However you can demonstrate it, I'm willing to listen.
I'm telling you that through my own experience of being out there in the world, and not just anecdotally, not just from what I have experienced, but just out in the world.
I'm telling you from my own experience, but not telling you from my own experience.
I am
right?
speaking partly from my own experience.
And what are you speaking? What is the other part that you're speaking from besides your own experience?
if you ask people what their values are, what their core values are, they all pretty much line up. And that is true in the polls. People want their families protected. People want to feel safe. People want their lives protected. Now, the finer details, sure, if we want to get pedantic about it, we can. And that's where things differ. But a lot of these ideological wars are problems that are made up. And we think that they're bigger issues than they are.
Was January 6th made up?
No.
No.
What
Okay.
does January 6th have to do with
Well, I'm just saying, I think it's really interesting that as we see unrest in the street, as we literally see what just happened in the California riots due to illegal immigrants, we see people say that what they want less illegal immigration inside of their nation, they want less diversity, they want less of these things overwhelmingly, and then overwhelmingly vote for a president who says that they're going to deliver on those things. It sure seems like an ideological divide to me on Main Street, not just from some elitist online or some rhetorician somewhere. It certainly seems to me like these are things that people take seriously and that they're having struggles with. Now, when you say this sort of nonsense like this, you say, hey, Andrew, look, we all have some shared needs. That's true. We all want to see our families protected. We all want food to eat. We all want safety. All of those things are true. But you realize the distinction between ideologies is how we get there. That's how we get to those things. The various ideas of safety. Let's take the trans movement, for instance, right? The entirety right now of the political polarization behind transgenderism is that women don't feel safe in their own sports, do they? They're tired of getting their shit pushed in. They're tired of getting their faces bashed in. They're tired of getting humiliated by men in wigs. They don't feel very fucking safe, do they? And so it becomes very ideological. It's funny. They want the same things you want. They want safety and this and that. But they seem to think that they're not very safe right now when it comes to this particular issue. And so other people, though, they do. And that's how you end up with ideological divides, right?
Are you framing that there's like a mass movement of trans women in women's sports right now? I can only think of a couple instances.
No, I'm pointing out to you something which is objectively true, which is the feeling of safety. When you say that there's shared values that people have across the board, I'm willing to concede that that's true because it's obvious. It doesn't even need empirical evidence, nor I think even a logical syllogism is necessary for this. It's observable by almost everybody on planet Earth. People have shared needs. Safety, one of the things that you cited, is one of those needs. But safety also comes at the expense of a feeling, doesn't it? I feel safe. It's not objective all the time, is it? You can be unsafe, for instance, and feel safe. But this is all branched around the feeling of safety. And women right now don't feel safe in sports, even if they're not dealing with any transgenders. And that creates ideological divides.
What can you point to that shows that women by and large don't feel safe in sports? Though this is not, I'm not even here to debate the merits of trans athletes, but I think that that's a bit of a claim to say that women in college sport or any sports are fearful of that actively.
Do you agree with me that there's tens of thousands of anti-trans activists in the United States?
I don't know. I've never looked at those figures.
Okay. Well, there are. Tens of thousands of anti-trans activists. I can point you to J.K. Rowling, for instance, who's a very prominent online figure, and her media has been seen by I don't know how many millions of people and made into movies and everything else. And she's a prominent, what is called, and I'll tell you what they're called. They're called TERFs, trans exclusionary radical feminists.
Fantastic.
Real
quick. So J.K. Rowling feels unsafe in women's sports?
She feels that women's sports are unsafe, and many of the advocates who are trying to push people out. Yes.
But she's not a participant in women's sports.
Do you need to be a participant in women's sports in order to point out that women's sports is not safe for women?
Yeah, I would argue that if all of the female athletes in female sports, or the majority even, came out and said, I do not feel safe within female sports right now, then I would say, okay, absolutely. That's a problem that we need to look at.
I agree. I guess that's why so many universities recently changed their policies so that trans athletes can't compete anymore against women if they're males. I guess they must have gotten some feedback from their faculty, which they did, and from their students, which they did, that they no longer wanted to have them participate. And you know what the number one reason that they cited was? They didn't feel safe.
So it's not even happening anymore. There's been laws passed to
It's
prevent
still
that?
happening. Yes, of course it's happening.
Oh, you just said that colleges have outlawed.
I said many
That's
colleges
not
have, many
okay.
colleges have reversed policies that they had on this, specifically because of the feelings of safety from the athletes who were involved in these various programs.
Okay, so now their athletes are no longer feeling unsafe?
And they're not feeling unsafe because ideology was able to reverse policy. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going back to what you were saying, where you're saying the number one
Uh-huh.
thing in and the number one issue with transgender issues in the
No,
US.
no, don't straw man my position. I didn't say that's the number one
I'm
issue with
not trying to.
transgenders in the US. What I
Okay.
told you, I was speaking to ideological distinctions and how the feeling of safety is paramount when it comes to the idea of trans sports. Not that that's the number one issue with transgender anything, only that I can easily use that as an example for how ideology transfers over to the mainstream and affects policy.
I have no background or information on transgender people participating in sports. I don't play sports,
I don't
as you
think you
mentioned.
have a lot
I'm
of
a
background
badass.
information on anything, honestly.
But fair
Because
enough,
you
you
think
can
that
say that.
people don't have ideological divides on Main Street because you see
No,
them
I'm
buying
saying
their
that
fucking salads and their chicken sandwiches and not talking about how they hate the trans out in public, right? But the thing is so funny about it is
you
like,
think I'm a food reviewer?
no. The
Okay.
point that I'm making to you is that
I'm not asking
whatever
people
your
about what they're eating.
whatever your anecdotal evidences are of people who are out in the mainstream due to the normalcy bias acting as though everything is perfectly acceptable is the same thing that you would find in war-torn France, war-torn Germany, war-torn Russia. People are always moving towards the idea of normalcy, even if there are major ideological divides. And by the way, you still haven't demonstrated in any way, shape, or form how I'm an actual grifter, other than you put university in the name of a course that you sold and marketed as a way to up your debate skills. And you haven't watched it, so you can't even criticize it, nor do you know what the guest list was that came on, who are PhD, by the way, PhDs. One, a PhD in religions. And the whole point was to show you how it is that you can make ideological arguments from a religious worldview and not look like a fucking stupid fool. And guess what? I had experts come in who did exactly that. Many prominent experts, in fact, and many more to come. So I'm not really sure how it is that I'm grifting.
Again,
on that note, I did want to interrupt and just let you know you are at about the half-hour mark for that. So it's up to you if you want to continue there or if you wanted to start moving into your other points. It's up to the two of you.
I'm fine either
Or
way.
do you want to wrap this
Do
up?
you feel
maybe in
like
the
you
next-
successfully demonstrated that I was a grifter, or did you have anything more you wanted to say on that point?
As I'm trying to say to you, Andrew, is that I believe that you are a grifter because you are pushing forth this narrative that is simply untrue. And while you say that, oh, I'm talking to people about chicken sandwiches or whatever the fuck, that's not what I'm talking about to them, to the people on the street. I am talking to them about their ideologies, about these specific difficult issues. And by and large, most people are actually pretty in line with one another. It's very, very fractional margins about these like niche issues like trans people in sports, which at the end of the day does not overwhelmingly affect the population. Sure, there's disagreements about that, but it's also not war. It's not a battle. Nobody's losing their life over it. Nobody's actively in danger in these whether it's trans sports or gay marriage or whatever the fuck. Nobody's actually in danger from any of that. So it's crazy to frame it as combat and as battle. That is intentionally trying to trigger the fight or flight response in your audience. And
I'm not intentionally trying to trigger a fight or flight response. I am intentionally explaining exactly what I think, which is that it is an ideological battle, that millions of people have lost their lives in the womb, smited by their own mothers due to the propaganda of the state and feminism, and that is something which has happened, and from my view, is mass murder. I have pointed out multiple times that there's a massive illegal immigration crisis which is going on, which has cost thousands upon thousands of people their lives in crime, even more in fentanyl and overdosing, even more in the drug trade which is going on there, which is going on due to the illegal immigration which is happening in the nation. I can go on and on and on and on and on, but when you make these crazy ass claims, nobody's losing their lives, you're quite wrong. They are losing their lives. They get killed often. Hang on, they get killed often enough that Chicago is battleground, a literal war zone going on in Chicago. More people were losing their lives there a day than were losing their lives in Afghanistan during the war. Were you aware of that? Yes, not kidding. Look up the stats yourself. Look it up yourself. It is the case that there are literal fucking war zones and battlegrounds right now in the United States. You just don't know anything about it because you've never looked into it. But some of us have. And the thing is that it's nice that you go into these hunky-dory neighborhoods and ask people who are out doing their daily stuff, maybe, what their ideology is. But remember, there's also something called phraseology. And the idea is here you can actually phrase questions in a way which affirms bias. So I don't like, you're so ignorant on these issues. It's difficult for me to even trust what you're saying to me right now. It's actually difficult for me to. Why would you raise a skeptical eyebrow when I mentioned Chicago? Why? You don't know how bad things are there? What about Detroit? Do you know how bad things are there? It's fucking bad. I don't know what to tell you. It's real bad. It's not good.
Well, I will say this as somebody who has been to literal active war zones and somebody who has been to Chicago and to Detroit who
What
lives
active war zones have you been in?
I've been to Syria and I've been to Yemen.
What active war zones were you in?
Syria, which is...
No. That's a country.
No,
I'm talking about an active war zone, not if there's a war going on in the country, but you were happened to be in the country when there was a war. What war zone were you in? Did you see the battle with your own eyes because you were there and you were watching people blow each other to bits, or did you happen to go to the country while a war was going on and you were in the safety zones? Which one's actually true?
I have seen a bomb go off and I have seen people die in front of me.
Where did that happen?
In Syria, in Yemen.
So in Syria, you were a war correspondent and you watched people get blown up?
I wasn't a war correspondent, but I have been in dangerous places. So I've been to Syria, I've been to Yemen, I have been to Israel as well. So I've seen the front lines of what war is, and it is horrific, and that is dangerous. And I don't even need.
It's really funny that you went to Israel. And you don't realize that entire war that's going on there is ideological. Very little of it is actually physical. It's almost all ideological.
Are you arguing that? Okay. I was not talking about politically outside of the U.S. When I talk about the grifting that you're doing, I am assuming that is going to U.S. consumers or maybe people in Canada, but English-speaking.
I think people worldwide have bought the course.
Okay. You know what? Then if
so it's global grifting, baby. Global grifting. That university in the name is just making people lap it up. They're so fucking stupid. They don't realize it, even though all the marketing that I did was that, hey, this will probably assist you with your debate skills. And it seems to have actually done just that. Actually, these people are so stupid, they thought that they were going to get like a fucking, I don't know, a diploma inside of the Cracker Jacks box. I don't know what it is that you actually think here, but
baby, if you were saying that if your course is helping the folks in the Congo and in Palestine and in Yemen, then more power to you.
Do you think that people? Do you think that people who are in different nations may have different priorities for the things that they value? Like perhaps people in the Congo value monkey brains more than they do debate, but perhaps people who live in the middle of the UK, who are in an ideological battle from tons and tons of Muslims being imported into their country, may need to have an edge in political debate because that's the problem they're dealing with. Do you think that maybe problems are diverse around the world and that the debate course wasn't designed to solve AIDS in Africa?
Andrew, my whole point just now was that I imagine that your courses and your content is being pushed to the US and to Canada and to English-speaking nations that are more in line with what we're dealing with here in the US and not actually what's going on in war-torn places. But we're getting off track.
So what's the grift?
Again, my argument for your grift is that things here in the US, it's not a war zone. Ideologically, it's not a war. Online, it may seem like that because the algorithm is pushing to people that it is, because people tend to engage with the content that they hate more than the content that they love. If you trigger somebody's fight or flight, and if you if you trigger that level of cortisol rise in them, they're going to stick around and they're going to consume that content. It's not healthy for them. It results in increased levels of anxiety, in isolation, in depression, in suicidal ideation. It's not good.
Link the study.
That's NIH Library of Medicine. I don't have a laptop.
NIH Library of Medicine. What's it called?
It's, if you look up the consequences of hate watching, I think is what I ended up looking up to find.
The consequences of hate watching.
That's been a study that they've done to see what the effects on these hateful content watching is doing to people. But also,
let's just make sure that we got this right. I just want to make sure that we get it correct, because I don't want to cite the wrong study. National Library of Medicine, perhaps?
National Library of Medicine, sponsored by the NIH, yes.
Okay. So are you talking about this one that, let's just make sure I got this right here. That way that
says exposure to hate.
So this is researchers from NLM and the National Cancer Institute have developed artificial intelligence algorithm to speed up the process of matching. That doesn't sound right.
No, that's not.
You were saying with the hate in online and traditional media, correct?
That may have been it. It would behoove me to have a laptop in front of me.
I'm gonna drop it. Oh, I guess you can't see it, but I thought that's what you were stating too, is the social platforms and the online hate stuff.
That may very well be the study, but again,
okay. I'm gonna drop it.
Let's find out. Hang on.
I'm dropping that backstage.
Yeah,
in case you want that one.
Hang on. Let's pull it up and we'll take a peek here. Let's make sure that we got this right. Exposed to hate in online traditional media, systematic review and meta-analysis of the impact of this exposure on individuals and communities. Does that sound like the study?
It could be. Again, I'm not sure if that's the
Does
right
it start with the problem? People use social media platforms to chat, search, and share information to express their opinions and connect with others. But these platforms also facilitate the positive of divisive, harmful, and hateful messaging, targeting groups and individuals based on their religion, gender, sexual orientation, political views.
I have read that, but I don't believe that that's what I'm citing.
You don't believe that that's what you're citing?
No, I think that one was based more upon receiving hate, like hate comments and such.
So you came to the debate and you were going to source the evidence, and the evidence that you're sourcing is, I don't know, I can't source the evidence. You don't even remember what the study name is. We have to Google it instead and hope that we hit the right study. Is that what we're supposed to do? We're supposed to shoot. How many of these studies should we read so that we can tell if you're telling the truth about this or not? By the way, I just took a look at that particular study. It was 230 pages. How long did it take you to read this study? Just out of curiosity.
I wasn't clocking it. I don't know. I don't have a
Roughly.
Timer on when I read things. I don't know. It could have taken me days. It could have taken me a few hours. I don't know.
Can you cite for me or at least tell me just off the top of your head, since you read the entire study, what the methodology was for it, and was there a meta-analysis associated with it?
No, I can't.
You can't tell me. So you don't know if there was a meta-analysis, and you don't know what the methodology of the study that you read was.
I didn't memorize the study, Andrew.
I'm not asking if you memorized it, but you should, off the cuff. There's a whole big portion. The methodology for how studies are conducted is extremely important, especially when you're talking about something which you're talking about here, which is sociology. So sociology says, that suffers from.
But I'm not going to retain all of that information.
I'm asking you to retain any of it. Can you tell me anything about the methodology? Literally anything. Can you give me anything about the method? One thing about the methodology.
Without it in front of me, no. I don't have a photographic memory.
So you don't remember a single thing about the methodology. You can't. Was it men and women? Do you even remember that?
Yes, it was men and women.
Okay, and then what were the ages?
I don't remember that.
You don't know. Okay, what were and were they postmenopausal? Was that cited? Postmenopausal women?
It very well could have been, but again,
but you don't remember.
I don't have a photographic memory.
That's not a photographic memory. If you're coming to a debate, and the crux of your argument is to cite for evidence a study which you supposedly read to prove that guys like me have a negative impact on society based on something other than your personal incredulity, you better damn well at least understand the basic methodology of sociological studies and what the damn thing said.
Of course, if I were a professional debater, that's probably what I would come equipped with. But my point to you is that I am not.
Maybe you should take
You
my
are-
course.
I-
Maybe if you took my course, you would have come with that information to make sure that you didn't look as bad as you do right this second.
I would argue that if I took your course, I would be no better off than I am right now. Because
Based
again,
on what? I mean, I think you would.
based on the
Okay.
fact that
Look, I'm happy to move on to whatever the next topic is. I'm happy to do it.
No, I'm happy to continue trying to answer your question for you. If you were
Okay, go ahead.
My point. My whole thing is that, again, this is unhealthy for our society, and it's not actually a major issue outside of the online world, but you are posturing it that it is. You are sort of you're fostering this sort of tribe or community where you feel like, or where your audience, I'll say, feels a sort of parasocial relationship with you, and that if you attack and own your opposer, that they've somehow won something. But in reality, it doesn't. They're not any happier. You're not any happier. Nobody's any better off for arguing their ideology in YouTube comments or with their family at Thanksgiving. It's not a real issue. You're giving a prescription for a problem that you're helping further and cause. It's like this self-sustaining ecosystem. It's you, but it's also people on the other side. It's Destiny, and it's fucking Dean Withers, and it's Hassan Piker, and it's Charlie Kirk, and it's any of them. It's all just money. I've sat in on the Whatever podcast, for example, and I watched them in real time collect over $16,000 from people who just wanted to see these, OnlyFans women that were there get owned. And none of that money is put to any better use. None of the money went into production value. None of the money is used to further whatever ideological cause he had. And I'm sure the same is true for your course or any donations. I'm seeing super chats come in, and they're not going anywhere that's anything of value. There's no cost here. You're in your home. I'm in a studio in New York. There's nothing's going back into production. It's all just a money grab. You know that it works algorithmically, and it's lining your pockets. If the world changed tomorrow, if we woke up and suddenly we were in Andrew Wilson's perfect world, what the fuck would you do? What would you do to make money, Andrew? How would your grift would be done because we'd achieved your goal. But you know that we're never actually going to achieve your goal in our lifetime and in this world. You've set such an impossible standard that you can never actively get there, but you can stoke your followers into thinking that you're so close and we're on the battlefield, we're on the front lines. Just give me a little bit more money. Let me monetize a little bit more and we'll be able to get there. But you never actually will get there. You'll never cross that finish line. So you'll just collect and collect and collect from these poor people who have bought into your bullshit like they're part of a super church. It's sad. It is genuinely sad. The reason that I responded to that guy on Twitter was because I actually felt bad for him, because he was appealing to you and trying to get you to interact with me and to tear me down a notch. At the end of the day, you don't give a fuck about that guy. You don't give a fuck about any of your audience outside of them giving you money. And if it's a threat to your grift and to your money, then you'll engage with me and you'll attack me or whoever it is. You'll challenge that because this is challenging your livelihood. But it's not like a real battle.
So
it's not
to make sure I got this right, if I hadn't engaged in this debate with you, that would have been a challenge to my livelihood.
Yeah, because maybe that guy was maybe that guy donates money to you.
Interesting, because before that you said you tried to get my attention multiple times and I didn't see it or didn't engage with you, which is really interesting because it seems like by me not engaging with you, that's no threat to my livelihood at all. And yet somehow you think that you have enough influence to engage with me, or not, by not engaging with me or me not engaging with you, that's somehow going to threaten my livelihood. I think that's an interesting. Well, I'm not misunderstanding. I just let you go on your whole fucking speech. So now it's my turn. The truth is that
you're misunderstanding
people like you are just jealous as fuck. What's happened is you've had a stream of failed career opportunities. You're not a funny comedian. Comedians themselves and satire is the front line of ideological battles. It always has been. Satire, for instance, in Russia was exactly how in the Soviet Union people were able to fight back against the government. They use satire. Comedians were on the front line of that. Had a long conversation with Dave Smith about this one day and clarified this perspective for him as well. And I put out many tweets about it. Satire itself is a way in which comedians utilize humor in order to attack ideological systems that they don't like. That's what they do. Dave Chappelle does this. Louis C.K. does this. Dave Smith did this. Steven Crowder does this. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. And many of those guys I know and have had many conversations with. You, on the other hand, you want us to believe in this rose-colored view. The rose-colored view being, Andrew, you're trying to set impossible standards. What impossible standards am I trying to set that you think are unachievable in this lifetime? There's many standards which I attack, which I think we can go after immediately and try to. Also, on top of that, inside of this like rose-colored view that you have, you seem to think that I'm trying to grasp some sort of parasocial relationship between myself and my audience. However, the very industry that you're in, which is an industry of comics, how are they any different? Aren't you accusing me of the very same thing that you guys do? The entire idea of why people show up to see Louis C.K. live when they could just watch him on their TV is because they want to meet him, they want to shake his hand, they want to talk to him. Is that parasocial by nature? I don't think so. I think parasocial has a specific meaning, and so does fostering a parasocial relationship. And I think ultimately, you've never proved ever how I'm a grifter. And all you've done so far is use arguments from incredulity and also use blanket assertions with zero evidence. Andrew, what you believe is this. Okay, where's the demonstration that that's what I believe? Well, I just think it is. Well, Andrew, this isn't really what's going on. Okay, where's the evidence that this isn't what's going on? Well, I don't have any. Andrew, I have a study here that shows Smoky Man bad, and so are all the other people who are talking heads and influencers such as yourself who are on ideological front lines. They're all bad too, and I have a study that shows it. Yeah, did you read the study? Well, yeah. Okay, can you tell me anything that's in it? Well, no. And it's like, well, so what am I supposed to believe here? And by the way, it's really funny to me that you, in the most uncharitable way, attack me for talking to you when you're the one who came and attacked me, right? And so I'm willing to air your grievances out in front of, I don't know how many thousands of people are watching right now, right this second, but there's thousands and thousands of them watching right this second. And I'm willing to air your grievances out. Willing to let you challenge whatever my worldview is so that we can engage in what that is, because I think that I can maybe change your mind on some things, because that's what I do, and I'm real fucking good at it. But somehow that's still a grift through your rose-colored glasses and this idea that everybody's singing fucking Kumbaya. Lady, they're not. That's one. And two, I would like a demonstration of these things past assertion and how you feel. I'd like some actual evidence for any of these claims. I'd actually like to see that. Can you give me that?
Okay, so we'll start from the beginning then, I guess. I'll clarify what you misunderstood about the whole Twitter engagement. I wasn't saying that I have so many followers and I have such a heavy influence that what I say about you is going to somehow change by the mass. If I put out a tweet about Andrew Wilson, that's not going to change the masses. But me talking to that individual who does watch you, who does engage with you, who may very well donate through super chats, or who may very well purchase your course, by me telling him and sort of pulling the curtain that you don't actually genuinely give a shit about him or whatever he's going through, that's challenging your audience and
Lady,
your
do you realize, like, I've been attacked by names that are fucking huge in this industry. Hang on. I'm attacked by them often.
Am I allowed to finish my point?
Pardon me for being very incredulous in this case about you and your perceived influence of a guy tagged me in a post. You were talking shit, and I said, if you want to debate, let's debate. But anyway, go ahead.
Again, I'm not saying that my particular influence is going to somehow damage your, again, me saying anything about you isn't going to just have an outright downfall for you, because my audience already doesn't like you. We have different audiences, Andrew. So me saying to people who already don't like you.
Yeah, I know. I have one. You don't. That's I have one. You don't. We do have different audiences. It's true.
Okay. And again, that then leads into the whole failure thing. You can try and attack me and insult my career, which is not a failure, which has improved every single year. You can attack the fact that I don't have an audience, but across all my platforms, I do have about 300.
Why shouldn't I assume that you're only attacking me because you want to try to pull members of my audience towards you? Doesn't that seem like that's a really good motivation for somebody who has such a small audience to want to engage with me specifically and call me all of these names and a grifter and everything else? Make that the entire centerpiece of what it is you want to debate with me about. Isn't that really just you trying to pull people away? You think you're pulling people off?
Audience size. I don't think we have that big of a difference in audience size.
Oh, I think we do.
How many followers do you have across all platforms?
Followers don't matter. It's live engagement that matters.
I don't live stream. So in live engagement, sure, you win. I'm not a streamer. But
it's always been live engagement and who can fill the seats. Never about who can buy followers on their fucking Instagram account or who can have a clip go viral and 80,000 people sub up and then watch nothing else that they do. What matters is who can fill the arenas, who can fill the seats, and who can get the viewers on them when they're live. Is that you? Are you filling arenas?
I am certainly filling comedy clubs, and that's just.
Are you filling comedy clubs, or are headliners filling comedy clubs, and you just happen to go there and do your comedy?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. I have. Well, that's. I mean, you're asking me, but yeah, that's both. And being only 3 years into comedy, that's quite a feat. So.
Okay.
I mean, you're saying like you're trying to insult my career, and fair enough. I expected you to try and engage in personal attacks and take it down.
Oh, I started the personal attacks then?
No,
that was me. That was me. Or did you open in your statement trying to say something about a gay dildo? Because that was, but we didn't really want to say it. You just said it anyway as part of a passive aggressive attack, right? Even though I gave you the floor even and was like, you can actually say what you want to say to me. I have a really thick skin. Way better people than you have called me every name in the sun. Way more influential and way more rhetorically effective people than you have insulted me. So
I don't feel the need to insult you, Andrew. It's not, I think that you're a grifter. I hate what you're doing.
Well, I think that you're grifting. I think that by your standard, if we're going to hold to your standard, then you're doing the exact same thing. Right now, the case is that you're saying that there's a distinction between our ideologies. You're saying that your ideology says there's no problem. The status quo is great. Most people are in agreement. You have a differentiation from my ideology, which says that that's not the case. We have an ideological distinction. You're here to correct my ideological distinction, just like I'm here to correct yours. You say that I'm a grifter because I sell a course. Okay, then you're a grifter because you fill up a comedy club. You utilize satire in the same way that I use political commentary in order to change people's minds and in order to get people to engage with you directly. You're literally doing the exact same thing you accuse me of, but yet somehow you're not the grifter, but I am the grifter.
Correct.
How? What's the distinction between what you do and what I do?
Well, a comedian brings joy to people. It relieves stress. It brings laughter. It's not a political
statement. I bet you more people have laughed at my streams than have ever laughed at you in a comedy club.
I can definitely disagree with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you should come watch a TikTok invasion then. It's people laughing for about 4 hours straight. It's the funniest shit you've ever seen. But the thing is like, I think that I bring tons of that. And I'm by the way, I'm a political satirist as well as being a political commentator. I don't really see you doing anything that I'm not doing, except you just decided that you're not grifting and I am. The difference is I wouldn't call you a grifter. I would just say that
I am not monetizing off of what is inherently bad for people. I am not monetizing off of giving people.
Yeah, but what makes it inherently bad? A study that you can't cite, quote, and never read?
I did read it, and
but you don't remember anything about it.
I'm sorry that I didn't come with it printed out, and I don't know the exact sample size.
You didn't come to a debate. You didn't come to a debate with the thing that was supposed to make your point in the debate.
Yeah, I'm not a fucking debater, Andrew. That was the whole point.
Don't you think that's common sense, though? Isn't it common sense? Do you need to be a debater to bring the thing that's the crux of your argument, to bring that to a debate? You think that you need to be a skilled debater in order to figure that out?
That I know. I don't think that the responsibilities of a debate are common sense.
The responsibility of who would you ever confront with evidence of their nefarious wrongdoing without the evidence? Who would you ever do that with? Somehow in a debate that goes away for what reason? Like what?
Again, I am citing a study. I'm sorry that I don't have the study with me. Sure, that's unprepared on my part.
It's not, you know what? If you didn't have the study with you, I'm a very charitable person. I was happy to go through and look it up, but you can't remember the name. I was happy to ask you basic questions about the methodology, the key part of the study. You didn't remember any of it. You didn't remember any of the words in the study. You didn't remember how many pages the study was. Everything that I asked you, you can roll your eyes, but if you were in my shoes, the very first thing that you would say is, see, that person there is saying a bunch of shit that they don't even know is true. Sounds an awful lot like rhetorical grifting to me.
If I were in your shoes, no, I would not be asking, all right, what's the page count on this thing? I wouldn't ask something.
How would you
like
ascertain if somebody actually read the very piece of evidence that they're claiming goes against the other person's worldview you're arguing with, except to ask them questions about it?
If I am sharing a discussion and a debate space with somebody, like we are right now, I am giving them the benefit of the doubt and assuming that they're being honest with me, unless they're a grifting liar.
So they're a grifting liar because you didn't bring the key piece of evidence that proved that they're a grifting liar. This is
I'm saying
you're a brilliant
giving,
rhetorician. I wish one day that I had your skills.
The benefit of the doubt. I'm saying that I am trusting what if you're citing something, I'm going to trust it because I don't have a method to look it up right now. All I have is your word. So I have to trust. If I'm engaging in this conversation with you, then I have to trust that you're being honest with me. I have to trust that you're being honest in what you're saying. And
why do you need to trust that? Why is it necessary, especially in a debate, to trust your opposition that they're going to be honest with you? That's more of those rose-colored glasses that you seem to be wearing in life. No, I don't instantly think that ideological leftist scumbags are going to be perfectly honest with me. In fact, I think that they have a lot of motivation to lie to me and lie to me often, especially when their attacks seem to be centered around their personal view of me, and their personal view being that you're a grifter because you set some sort of unrealistic expectation for an audience that's too stupid to know that they're not going to get a diploma from a thing called Debate University, regardless of how it was marketed. So you're a genius and they're all stupid. You're so smart and they're so fucking stupid, which is so funny because I think all of them would have at least brought the very fucking crux of the study to the debate, which was supposed to be the centerpiece of the thing that proved me wrong. Just say it.
Again, I'm not claiming to be a genius, Andrew. I'm not saying that the grift is just in the name of the course. I'm saying that the grift is that you are making an issue that is not really an issue. You are framing it that it is this plague in society.
Okay. Well, let's move to that then. Let's start with, which issue do you think that I'm making an issue out of that isn't actually an issue? Let's start with that.
I think that just the whole idea of being in an ideological war is not actually real. I don't think that that's a real thing that people are dealing with in day to day. Goes back.
Then why do we have Republicans and Democrats?
Because we have difference in opinion of how we should be governed.
Difference in ideologies.
It's not a war. That's not a battleground.
It's not a war. It's not a battleground.
No. As somebody who has seen war, Andrew, I don't take the word war lightly.
So
it's not.
So when I say ideological war, this is an entailment that there's physical contact and people are murdering each other in the streets.
No, I'm saying that using the term war, because that is what war is. War is.
No. Well, war has multiple aspects. Have you ever heard of the Cold War? What was the Cold War? Was there people murdering each other with gunsies on the battlefield? Hang on. What was it? What was the Cold War? Was it a bunch of people with Uzi 9mm and hand grenades just fucking blowing each other to pieces, or was it something else? Tell us what the Cold War was.
What I'm saying, Andrew,
is tell us what the Cold War was.
I'm not doing this thing where then you're trying to derail me and get me to define other things.
I'm not even trying to get you to define. I'm just trying to say if every war is hot, what was the Cold War?
What I am saying to you, Andrew, is that by you using these terms like war and battle, you are evoking an emotional response out of people. You are leveling up their cortisol. You are triggering an anxiety response. And you
should I lie to them instead? Should I lie to them instead so that they feel nice and happy, so that they can be stupid and happy as they become enslaved to leftist ideology, which poisons their children, poisons them to the point where they murder their own fucking children, to the point where we have one of the lowest birth rates in the world and in a developed nation? Should I just pretend? Hang on. Should I just pretend that none of that's going on so that people can feel better? What do you want me to do here?
Again, Andrew, we're not in danger right now by the things that I get. I'll give you you believe that abortion is murder. Fine, you're allowed to believe that.
We're not in
You
danger, huh?
We're not in danger, Andrew.
I see.
We're not in danger in the way that you're saying that we are. And
What way am I saying we are?
by somebody being able to argue in YouTube comments or with their family at Thanksgiving does not save them from this imaginary danger. It just makes them feel right. It just strokes their ego.
Can you tell me what it is, though, that I'm saying that I'm incorrect about, or that I'm lying about, or that I'm being untruthful about, or things in which I am producing as content for people, or things in which I am saying to people which is factually untrue? Because if you can't, then what you're actually asking me to do is lie.
No, Andrew, what I am saying is that all of your content is farmed and framed in a way that's just meant to stoke the divide.
Okay, can you give me an example of this then? Can you give me an example of that content?
Any debate that you've ever been on, or any of your appearance on the whatever podcast.
Well, a debate is by definition people with opposing viewpoints who are arguing for what the truth is, right?
Sure.
This idea that I'm not supposed to do that, I don't know where that's coming from or why I shouldn't engage in that, especially when I believe that there's an ideological divide. But what you're not demonstrating for me is that there isn't one. Everything you say seems to affirm that there is one, and then you just give me this more of this incredulity.
I'm not saying that
the reason I bring up, the reason I bring up the Cold War. Would you agree that the Cold War was an ideologically distinct battle between the United States and the Soviet Union, based around the ideals of communism, capitalism, Americanism, and Sovietism? Do you agree that this was what that war was about? And it was a war.
Yeah, but we're not in the Cold War right now.
Now, did anybody, now, can you tell me what the casualty rate of that war was?
No, I can't.
Well,
We're
there
in
wasn't,
2025.
there was basically none, except maybe perhaps in small numbers by proxy. So what you've just admitted is that there can be ideological wars, and that ideological wars go on all the time. And I just gave you an example of a really elongated ideological war, which ended in victory due to the talking heads and the rhetoric and the subterfuge and et cetera, et cetera.
So the Cold War, you're leaving out the very big looming threat of nuclear destruction. We don't have that because you and I disagree on different topics, or because you don't agree with the left. We're not at risk for nuclear war right now. That's why the Cold War was so horrifying.
Wait a second. Just so that I get this clear, the ideal here being this, that nuclear bomb blow people up, they die, right?
Yes.
Oh, got it. So a woman go abort child die, right?
Again, we're
Can
not
you answer my question first and then give me whatever your qualifier is? Woman kill child die, right?
Woman kill child die, but I don't believe that abortion is murder. I
Because
don't
we
believe
have a
that.
distinction in ideology. So from my view, you are advocating for the murder of millions and mass genocide from my ideological perspective. But as long that's okay, because as long as you say it's not, though, then I should just shut up so that you can go around and have your rose-colored glasses and pretend all is dandy, because otherwise I'll be increasing the cortisol too much in people.
If your only argument, and if all you did online was about abortion, I would not call you a grifter.
Then which arguments are you upset about? Which ones?
I mean, I disagree with you on secularism, but again,
okay, well, let's get into secularism. What is it that you disagree with me on?
One moment, Andrew.
Okay. All right.
You can get into secularism, but my whole point is that, again, if you were just doing abortion, something that I truly believed in your heart of hearts, you were like, people's lives are on the line here, it is murder, it's life or death, then I would say, okay, he's not grifting, he really believes in the violent language that he's using, he thinks that this is a war. But given that your main thing that I've seen you do, I know that you've gone up against seasoned debaters, but you've also, I would say majority, have gone up against OnlyFans bimbos and people with no formal training or education, sometimes with a tenuous grasp on the English language, if we're being real about it. Because you're
So your argument is that I engage with everyone?
My argument
no matter
is that
how skilled or how unskilled?
My argument is that because you majority put yourself in that position and you profit off that content, where the only reason that you're there is to own these people, is to clip farm and to get things that you can sell and make money off of, I think that is why you are a grifter.
Because I happen to make money doing something that I'm good at, which is
Because
expressing the ideological divide and debating my end of it well. And because people make clips, you do realize that I make very few clips myself. I almost never do, nor do I farm them out to anybody. It's usually third parties who make clips of me. Very rarely do I ever do this at all.
yeah,
Just
I believe
I'm
you
just
hire third-party clip farmers.
no,
Sure.
no. I don't pay. I've never instructed a single third party to ever make clips of me, ever, not once. Not even one single time have I ever done this. Not with whatever, not with anybody, of which I'm a guest on their program, and I'm there to debate my ideology with people who disagree with it. People like you, for instance, which I'm doing right now. That is exactly what my job is, and I happen to be very good at it. And this idea, I noticed you had to qualify. Oh, well, he goes after seasoned debaters too. Yes, I do. And I've
Sometimes.
debated with the very best of the best. And
But
your argument seems to be that there's always going to be an elite tier of debaters who are in a small queue. There's always going to be a smaller amount of them than everybody else. However, tons of people have issues with my ideology because I'm willing to engage with this tier, and that tier, and all of them, that somehow that's worse than if I only engaged with this tier. Why?
Because if you were just engaging with people who are in that elite tier, whatever tier you want to put yourself in, if you were only engaging with them, with the people who are equipped to engage with you in that space, I would not call you a grifter. I would say, okay, he's doing this for honest reasons.
But wouldn't that be the most grifting thing? Because that's where I make the most amount of money and get the most amount of clips and get the most amount of notoriety. I actually I put myself at high risk, actually, debating with nobodies who have a massive incentive to get those owns on me. They have a massive incentive, hundreds and hundreds of them, to come in and get me with their little gotchas, get me with their little rhetorical flourishes. In fact, most debaters are mostly criticized because they only do what are called safe debates inside of a tier with pre-agreement. If you don't believe me, you can ask the moderator how many times she's had to probably negotiate out topics between S tier high level debaters, because these guys don't want to ever give any appearance that they lost or can get dunked on or this or that. Whereas I engage with everybody. I'm confident in my abilities to basically engage with everybody across the board, regardless of their gotchas. That's the least grifting thing to do.
No, you are engaging with people that you view as beneath you, that you know that you're smarter than or more skilled in this area, because
I'm glad you have such faith in me.
Because
I'm glad
it is better for you, because it is better for you monetarily.
I'm glad you have such faith in me that I take all comers on, right, regardless of the tier level of their debate, which also very much helps their channels, by the way. I notice that you forget this, that I'm this is not a brag. It's not a brag, but the thing is like, I'm a big content creator inside of this particular sphere. Okay.
Yeah. And that is my
when I engage with other people, they make a lot of money. And so they actually have the incentive to come and give me the gotchas and shit like that. This is the other way around.
It's a grift on their end too. I mean,
so everybody's just fucking grifting.
Yes.
Okay.
In this case, yes. In this informal
Sarah's a grifter. Sarah's a grifter.
Guilty.
Yeah, she's making money off of this same unhealthy thing. Yeah, I think she's a lovely woman, but I don't agree with what she's doing.
So she's a grifter. Just say she's a grifter. Okay.
She's a grifter as well. She's monetized.
So basically, anybody who's in this sphere, who's debating ideologies and happens to make money at doing it, is a grifter. But would it be the same if I was doing the exact same thing and made no money? Would I still be a grifter?
You would be trying to make money. Yeah.
So then I would be an attempted grifter. I just wouldn't be good at it.
Yes.
And do you make money doing comedy?
Yes, I do.
And what makes you not a grifter there?
Because I am saying things that I actually find funny that other people find funny, and
I'm saying things that I actually believe, and I'm making money doing that. Why is that worse than what you're doing?
What I am doing is not stressing anybody out or making them.
Oh, I see. So it's only. So the distinction is what about Louis C.K. or any of these other big comedians who say jokes all the time that stress people out? It gets in the news, for instance. It goes viral all the time. They say the N-word. They say all sorts of things which stress people out. Are they grifters as well?
No, because the overwhelming desire and result is that because the overwhelming desire and the intention is to make people laugh.
I see. So as long as they are intentionally not trying to do that, but rather they're intentionally trying to do the thing that they're doing, they're not grifters. And in this case, Andrew Wilson, the guy who's intentionally trying to convey his ideology, he is still a grifter, though, because make people feel bad.
No, you're a grifter because there's no way you believe this bullshit.
And when are we going to get to that part?
We
Can we get to the part of the things that I don't believe?
If you want to get to that part,
Yeah,
you can
can we get to
ahead.
the part? Well, it seems to be, as we've reduced this, that the entire crux of your argument is that Andrew Wilson's a grifter because he's espousing ideas he himself doesn't believe. I would love to get to the part where we get to the ideas that I'm espousing that I don't believe, and the floor is all yours.
I've said from the beginning that I think the thing that you don't believe is that this is not really that inherent of an issue, that this ideological war is not inherently an issue. I am not saying, and I said in the beginning, I said in my opening statement, I'm not saying that you're not an Orthodox Christian. You probably are. I don't know. I'm just going to assume that you are. Maybe you are really a paleocon. Fine. You can be a paleocon. Maybe you believe those things, but you don't actually believe that we are in ideological danger and that we need to arm people to the gills and that you can somehow save them and make them these expert debaters and that that's what's going to, you know.
Do you think that I say that I'm going to make? Do you think that I say that I'm going to make people expert debaters, or are you just making shit up?
I believe I saw the word expert at least once on your website.
Pull it up. I mean, we can pull it up.
I can pull it up on my end.
Where do I say I'm going to make you an expert debater?
I didn't memorize your website, Andrew.
Yeah. So the thing is like I don't make any claim that I'm going to make anybody an expert debater. I do think that the course can help you with basic concepts like metaphysics, ontology, epistemology, the ideas of structure in a debate, how you can conduct yourself in informal debates. I think that those things are very helpful for people who are online content creators. Even if they're not debaters, I think that they're helpful because they come under fire so often. You yourself, at some point in your career, I guarantee you this, if you ever get very popular, and God willing you do, good luck to you. But if you get very popular in your sphere, you're going to come under attack, and you're going to come under attack often.
Already have.
You haven't yet to the degree that you can. And so the thing is like, I'm telling you, you haven't to the degree that you can. But if you do, right, just remember that I told you this, right? One of the best defenses that people have against these types of attacks is understanding how to deal with them through the issuance of debate, especially blood sports debates, because most of these people are very bad faith in their criticisms of the opposition. They don't know what they're talking about. They didn't really do their research. They're making shit up, or they're just using incredulous lines based around one single idea, which is I have an idea in my head that this guy's bad, and I'm going to make sure that everything fits that narrative.
I can read there's a little introduction at the beginning of the website. It says, are you sick of not being able to defend your positions? Tired of your arguments getting undermined by slimy debate tactics? With the verbal combat course, you'll learn the core ideas, arguments, and techniques required to dominate any argument for informal debate. Presented by Andrew Wilson of the Crucible.
And I do think that those skills are present for you to do that.
And you don't think that that language has any weight to it of dominating, anything like that? You don't think that that's...
Of course there's weight, but I don't see how that makes me a grifter. I believe 100% that we're in an ideological battle. And then, by the way, if you followed my content, you would know that. Now, here's something I didn't know. Now I understand at least the motivation behind this. It's you have an OnlyFans account. Is that the case?
Is that still up? Sure, maybe. That's not the point of this. If anybody would like to see...
But now at least I understand that the idea, so was there industry friends of yours that you have that I hurt their feelings or something?
Oh, no, you misunderstand what my OnlyFans is. I don't do porn. I've never engaged in any kind of porn or anything.
No risque pictures or anything like that. Nothing like that.
You can find photos of my ass in a bikini, but I don't have friends in the porn industry. I've done a podcast I've appeared on the SDR show and High Society Radio, and those.
And have you moved away from the OF?
I thought I deactivated that. I haven't used it in forever.
I'm glad if you do. Like, I'm always happy when people move away from that. But I at least now I perhaps understand more of the motivation. But here when we get into the
I can say this. The fact that I've operated on OnlyFans, again, I don't call myself a sex worker. I've never done porn, nothing like that.
What was the point? What was the point of the OnlyFans? Was the point of the OnlyFans to raise people's cortisol?
I don't really know what viewing cosplay photos does biologically. to people.
Do
So
you
I'm
think
not
that?
gonna
Yeah.
argue
Well,
the-
why did you
I don't think
post
it's
them?
cortisol.
Did you post them there because you thought that it would elicit an emotional response from people?
No, I posted them there because it was bonus content of my cosplay and sort of behind the scenes stuff.
Oh, I
And
see.
then some
And
more.
did people have to pay for this bonus cosplay that was behind the scenes? Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, well, gee, that's incredible. So people had to pay for all of your bonus content to see you in less and less clothes, which is designed to elicit an emotional response. Was that a grift, by the way?
Not always less and less clothes. Sometimes actually more and more clothes. They
Oh,
really
okay.
look
Was
stuff
that a grift though? Were you charging
Mhm.
people? Did you tell people that they were going to get a product and you gave it to them via your OnlyFans? Was that
I'm
a
not
grift?
saying that I'm not saying that promising people a product and then giving them that product is not what a grift is.
So then what's the grift here?
The grift is that we're not in an ideology war, Andrew. Is that
Oh,
people
okay.
don't need this thing that
Oh,
you're saying
gotcha.
and telling them that we
Gotcha.
need.
Okay, so let's find out if we're in an ideological war or not.
right.
Let's start with this.
think that we are.
Do you believe that I'm saying things which I don't believe? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think that
Okay, can you tell me what those things are?
that we're in an ideological war and that we're
Okay,
in
yeah.
an ideological war zone.
I understand that you disagree with that, but the thing is that if that's the case and you think that I don't believe that,
Yeah.
I don't believe that. It doesn't matter what you believe. I don't care if you believe we're in an ideological war or not. In order to demonstrate I was a grifter, you'd have to demonstrate I don't believe that, right? Can you
Yes.
demonstrate I don't believe that?
Yeah,
How? Show me. Demonstrate it.
And with the exaggerated language in your course and the way that you conduct yourself online, I think that's a clear indicator that you don't actually believe this shit. You only believe it when it comes to under threat of your pockets.
So
That's
let me
why
get this.
we're here.
So I would think so. If I was going to try to disprove, for instance, that you didn't believe the ideology that you believed, which I'm sure you do believe the ideology you believe. I have no reason to doubt that you believe the things that you believe, right? I have no reason to doubt that. But if I was trying to debunk that you believe these things, I would look for inconsistencies in the things in which you said to people and the way in which you said them and the various context around those things in order to prove that you yourself didn't actually believe those things. If it is the case that everything that I spout, I believe, right? And you can't demonstrate that I don't, how in the world could you ever make the positive claim that I don't believe we're in an ideological war? Because, lady, I very much do.
If you genuinely believe that we're in an ideological war,
Yeah.
then then you're less intelligent than I thought that you
Oh,
were.
gotcha. But then
That's
it wouldn't.
what I mean, but I don't think that
But it
you
wouldn't be
are.
a grift. But it wouldn't be a grift, right?
No, if you were genuinely that stupid and you truly believed it, then that wouldn't be a grift. That would just be an idiot.
So then what you actually mean to say is Andrew's not a grifter. He's just stupid.
No, I think that you're a grifter. I don't think
Okay,
you're
so then can you demonstrate that I don't believe that there's an ideological battle going on between the left and the right?
How many times do we have to circle around with this? I think that your intentional use of certain language and framing is a big piece of that, but also the way in which you conduct yourself through these informal debates.
Do you think so? I this is what I fail to understand. Isn't my entire job, if I was an ideologue, to use rhetorical flourishes, logic, and other similar debate tactics in order to move my ideology out there? Wouldn't that be exactly what you would expect from an ideologue?
Yeah, if you were just moving your ideology out there and you weren't monetizing off of it,
Yeah,
then
but
I
I don't understand.
Grifter.
What poor people can move their ideology out there? Hey, can you name a single poor person of note who can move their ideology? Or is it all the people who are in control of ideological warfare? People have a massive war chest of money, which is actually true.
I mean, everything does start from a grassroots movement. It's not everybody just.
No. See, this is where you're ignorant. Almost nothing starts from a grassroots movement. Almost everything starts from what's called a non-government organization or an NGO. And NGOs actually create influencers who they pretend are grassroots activists when they're really not. There hasn't been probably an actual grassroots campaign in the United States probably since the formation of the Tea Party, not the original one in the late 1700s, but the most recent Tea Party. That had some grassroots elements to it. But you're incorrect here. Almost every single grassroots movement you can cite right this second probably has an NGO funding it. Now, you think that I'm wrong or I'm telling you something which is untrue that I don't believe? Name a single grassroots movement and let's see if there's an NGO funding it. I'm ready.
I don't know if that's sure. I'll just believe you on that. But again, I don't think that you're being honest with what you say that you believe. I don't think that you really believe that we're in an ideology war.
Yeah, but the thing is like right now it's on you. The burden is on you to demonstrate how it is that I don't believe this. The only thing that you've been able to do is say, Andrew uses language I disagree with when he sells products. Like, okay,
No.
I guess that's fair enough. But to make a claim that I'm not pushing a specific ideology and a specific worldview is absurd. I push it all the time, nonstop. Now, it's fair for you even to say then, but I don't believe that you believe it. But I really need a little bit more evidence than just, well, you sell a debate university, which you make money from, which, yes, I do make money from, that people asked me to put together. I had no intention of even doing it. This was a massive request from my audience that I do this because, and by the way, the reason I didn't want to do it is I didn't want to take the time off of work to fucking spend the weeks that were required to do it. But I did, and it worked out okay. I was lucky, I guess, in that regard. But I would like to know, like, Andrew, here's the portion of your ideology that you espouse that you don't believe this and that. Just saying, well, you have debate university and you line your pockets with it.
You don't believe that we're in an ideological war, Andrew.
You don't believe that. I don't believe that. Do you understand how absurd that is? If I say you don't believe that, I don't believe that, have we gotten anywhere?
If you want to take the position that you are genuinely stupid enough to believe that we're in an ideological war, then I guess I can't stop you.
Well, I think if you're going to take the position that you're genuinely stupid enough to believe that we're not, then I just don't know what to tell you. Do you see how that gets us nowhere? Oh, you're stupid. No, you're stupid. No, you're stupid. No, that guy over there is stupid.
I don't think you're stupid, Andrew. That's why I'm saying this. I don't think you're dumb enough to actually believe that we're in an ideological
actually believe
war.
that you are dumb enough to think we're not. Yes, there's an ideological war in the United States. There has been an ideological war in the United States since the drafting of the Articles of Confederation. There's been an ideological war between the Christnats of the time and the state. And I can't even, diving into the history of what happened between just the Articles of Confederation and the ratifying of the Constitution to feminism. Yes, we've been in an ideological battle for hundreds of years, and it's been very prominent the last 70 years. Very, very prominent. I have no idea how you could ever look at the mass polarization in the United States around issues like guns, the First Amendment, even the Third Amendment, which recently come out, the ideas of executive power, what's going on with the judicial branch, and pretend that there's not massive divides in ideology, just in voting patterns and how people respond to things. And it seems like the only argument you have is, well, yeah, but I talk to people and stuff, Andrew, so, you know.
Yeah. Andrew, you don't believe that we're in an ideological war, and you have entered this space. To my knowledge, you entered the whole debate space in 2021 when there was already a huge trend in this sort of, I don't want to call you just innately red pill, but in this sort of, we'll say, just bro debater online experience. Once that had really kind of skyrocketed in 2020, that's when it really rose to prominence. During COVID, you joined the space, as far as I can tell, in 2021 because you saw the money behind it, and now you've decided to just engage with what is essentially just this new version of reality TV. That's all that this is.
Okay, so I will elucidate your ignorance again. I got into this space by complete accident. I didn't ever want to do any streaming. That was never a goal of mine, ever even once. I had a happy career. And I made plenty good money at that career. I was a robotics mechanic.
Okay.
And I had I made plenty of cash. Okay. I mean, I wasn't rich, nothing like that, but I made decent cash. I had no way ever of knowing that I would become a prominent debater nor influencer. I have no formal debate training whatsoever. Right. The reason that I got into this is sheerly by accident. I was pissed off at progressives who are ideologically different from me during the lockdowns and the things that they were doing. And so I began arguing with them online. I did not realize that many people would gravitate towards the things that I said. It was a happy accident. You, on the other hand, purposely go out and are looking for a career in comedy. At least I have the saving grace of saying I accidented myself into this. This was never a plan of Andrew Wilson's at all. And you can look at the early content to prove it. I said it multiple times. To just do this for fun, right? I would get off of work and I would do 3 fucking debates in a night. I hate these fucking people. I do. I hate progressives like you can't imagine. I loathe them. For you to say that that's not the idea of ideology and that I wasn't in an experience of ideology when Michigan lockdowns were going on is fucking absurd. And it's so disingenuous. And also, quite frankly, it's very fucking stupid. It's the most ideologically loaded time in history, at least in the history of a man who's 41 years old, especially what was going on with the COVID lockdowns.
Maybe at one point you accidentally were, found yourself in it, but you realized how much money you could make from it and how much money you could make from stoking these fears that people have and from engaging with online bimbos and from doing these gotchas. And that's what brings us here.
And maybe at one point you really love the idea of comedy, and then you realize that there was a bunch of money in it, and so you're going to make politically correct jokes and you're going to go after red pillars because you think it'll get you notoriety. But you really lost the mission that you had, which was to go after comedy for the fun of comedy. Now what you're really after is just trying to demonize the people around you because you're a grifter. Do you see how stupid this is? Like, yeah, exactly. It's just untrue. And the reason I wouldn't come at you with things like that, with trying to ascribe your motivation for things which are untrue, is because it's impossible for me to discern your motivation without evidence. The thing of which you have provided none of. All you've done has been like, I'm incredulous and Smoky Man bad. That's basically all you've given us tonight.
I don't give a shit that you smoke, Andrew.
But you give a shit that I'm bad.
I give a shit that you're grifting people. Yeah. I give a shit.
I wish one day you would demonstrate the grift is all.
I mean, I don't know how many more ways you want me to say it. I think that you're being disingenuous. I think that you're only focused on the money with this, and that that stoking the flames that people have of being angry online is a great way to make money.
Look, I completely agree with you that it requires a war chest in order for me to continue to battle. And by the way, the thing is that I have bought myself some nice luxury guns recently based on what I make online. And I'm going to buy myself even more nice shit because I'm a very entertaining guy that people like to watch, right? I'm a very entertaining guy. People like to watch that sort of entertainment. What can I say? They send me a lot of money and I enjoy fucking spending it. They're going to send me a lot more tonight and I'm going to enjoy spending that. But that doesn't mean that these are mutually unexclusive concepts, that I can't believe what I believe and happen to be a successful enough entertainer to monetize that as well. By the way, most of these highly successful people do the exact same thing. They monetize the thing that they're really good at, but that doesn't mean they don't fucking believe it.
Well, I mean, I will say from my own personal experience, when I was at the Whatever podcast, I watched the cameras roll and I watched everybody assume a character. And then as soon as the cameras cut, all of the attitudes in the room changed. Everybody just took on their actual real persona, including your boy, Brian Atlas. And it all just went away. And everybody was a completely different human person.
Tell me something, because I've had similar experiences there, right?
Yeah.
Except with myself. I was the exact same person walking in as I was on camera.
Well, you weren't there that day.
And that's never, and by the way, that's never changed. You ask the women who are there. It's the exact same way off camera as I was on camera. The difference is that when you meet with people for the very first time, you sit down and you start talking with them, you talk about things that don't matter. So, for instance, before you actually went on and the camera started rolling, were you guys discussing abortion, trans issues, feminism, or were you talking about things like who had the nicest nails and what type of shirt you were wearing? Because it's a big difference when you sit down at a table and you're discussing actual issues that matter to you. And if you're discussing superficial issues before the show starts, isn't there?
Well, but I can say that after the show, when the cameras cut and the girls started laughing and were like, damn, yeah, it is going to be a good night. I'm going to make a lot of money on my respected thing, from the people who were hate watching and from the people who were supporting what they were saying.
Yeah, and I've been in studio many times where the cameras roll off and women storm out. They're so fucking enraged they can't see straight. I've seen women attack me multiple times in studio. That's happened to me multiple times, right? And they weren't fucking funning. So the thing is like, it is possible that there's going to be some people who have nefarious agendas who go on to shows like this in order to promote themselves, like I feel like you're doing right now. Doesn't surprise me. But the thing is that doesn't mean that there's not many who aren't actually ideologically invested in the things they believe and want to discuss them. And I've met many genuine women who've gone on the whatever podcast who want to do just that. Are there some trolls? Sure. There's some people who are there only to market their pussy. I'm sure that's true too. But are there also people who genuinely believe in the issues and want to discuss them? Yeah, there are.
I think that's far and few between.
Well, that's nice that you believe that. You've been on once. I've been on 100 fucking times. So
if I may interrupt the both of you, Brian is in the chat asking if he can call in. I think he wants to either defend his name. I have to leave it to the both of you. If you both agree, that's fine with me.
I'm fine with
it.
If
you don't, then I will move on. It's up to you.
I do not want to give Brian Wilson another single second of money or attention, or Atlas, whatever his last name is.
I will respect it. It is your debate to have.
What do you mean? You give him attention? He has one of the largest IRL podcasts in the fucking world. How are you going to be giving him attention? What do you think what is he going to get from engaging with you? You are the beneficiary of him engaging with you, not the other way around.
I do not benefit from engaging with Brian Atlas. He stole 9 hours and 19 minutes of my life that I'll never get back. I don't want to give him any more of my time.
Oh, Lord. Sounds
That's
like it sounds like sheer unadulterated cowardice to me, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, you can think that it's that, but it's more so just sheer unadulterated annoyedness. And I've publicly said that I don't want to talk to him anymore. I did 9 hours and 19 minutes on an empty stomach of it. It was pretty unbearable.
My God, a full work day.
Yeah, until 2 a.m. after my actual work day.
My God, a double shift.
It was unpaid. So yeah.
Well, wait. So you're saying that you went on there to promote your ideology? That's really weird.
Went on there
you went on there to do what?
I went on there because I thought it would be funny, and then I would be able to just have a nice laugh with it.
So you wanted to. So wait. So you're guilty again of the very thing that you're criticizing him of. So you went on the podcast. You went on the podcast because you thought it would be funny. This is a thing that you're trying to promote. I believe that you're totally invested in being funny. So you went there to be funny, right? To promote this thing that you want. Got it. And does that mean that I think that you're divorced from your ideology or the beliefs that you espouse there? No, of course not. That would be ridiculous.
I mean, if you're going on something to be funny, I don't think that you necessarily have to believe whatever ridiculous claims that you're saying.
The thing that makes comedy funny is that it's rooted in truth.
Sometimes.
If you're told no.
Sometimes absurdity is funny.
Well, the absurdity is only funny because it's pointing out what's true. Otherwise, you can't be absurd. So truth is always a grounding foundation. In order to point out what is absurd, you have to have something which is true to make a comparison to. Comedy is grounded in truth, and so is satire. It wouldn't be funny if you didn't have that.
You think that comedians never make up funny stories?
I do, but I think that the funny stories are always pointing to something that is true. So it could be that the story itself is false, but it's pointing to things which are true in reality. That's what makes them funny. So perhaps an awkward social situation that people have been in many times before, and the way in which they engage in those awkward social situations. This was the entire sitcom of Seinfeld, and Larry went on to make his own type of Seinfeld show based around the same thing, which was awkward engagements, all of them pointing to the awkwardness of what in reality is true. That's what makes satire so funny. That's what makes awkward engagement so funny. And so the thing is like, that's all rooted in truth. Am I to suppose that you don't have an ideology in truth if you're trying to be funny?
I think that sometimes also trolling can be funny when people do it right. I think that can be funny, and that's not necessarily rooted in a
trolling.
Truth.
Well, hang on. Most of the funny trolls are rooted in the truth.
I would disagree with that. I think it's sometimes, yeah.
Like which ones?
Andrew, I don't know famous trolls.
Well, that's what I'm
saying
saying.
that
Is like
instances of trolling that I've seen.
there's
sometimes it's
different
not the
when
truth, but
people
it's
say
true.
trolling, there's different degrees to this. So perhaps you go online, you're just spouting a bunch of bullshit and this and that because you want to do engagement farming. That's one type of trolling. Another type of trolling is you make up various things about people because you want to damage them because you get your kicks out of it. I've seen that type of trolling plenty too. None of that's actually very funny though. Funny trolling seems to be satirical in nature.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I'd say,
We
well,
have
that's what it
difference in
seems like to
sense of
me.
humor. That's fine. We have difference in sense of humor, and that's to be expected. But
I guess. But I think like everything that's rooted, I don't think that the comedy is nearly so intersubjective as people believe.
okay.
Because I think if you ask people who the funny comedians are, they genuinely seem to agree across the board. And it's because like guys like George Carlin, for instance, his entire stand-up was pointing at the reality of situations and then clobbering them with their absurdity. But he had to start with the basis of truth or people couldn't relate to it. That was the whole point.
Okay. You're still a grifter. You're still a
Okay.
grifter is what I'm pointing
Can we
out.
move? Can we move to secularism? I feel like we beat this to death. So
We have
What I'm going to say is because we're up towards the 2-hour mark, and I know that she had a time limit. I
Yes.
believe it was 11:45 was your wrap up, correct?
That's like hard out between like 11:30 and 11:45 is when I need to
That
be
is
wrapped.
fair. So it's 11:15 now, and I believe you're in the same time zone as me, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Eastern
Okay.
Standard.
So we have two options. We can try to get a quickie of secularism in, which I don't think would actually be productive. Or we can kind of move into open panel, read a few super chats, and then wind down and let Josie go.
okay.
Yeah, I don't. Unfortunately, I was actually excited to talk about secularism and feminism, but I don't know that we'll have.
You guys were like nailing
substance.
into it, and I thought it was gonna move every time, and I was like, "Yes, we're gonna get there," and then it came back around. So
Yeah.
what I proposed to both of you, because this was such a really good conversation, I think that if we want to set up round 2 and actually do secularism and feminism, and we can leave Grifter off the
Yeah,
board.
right. She was so eviscerated in this debate there. She ain't ever come back for round 2.
I'll do
Give me a
girl.
break.
I'll do it.
Okay.
I don't think you've eviscerated me.
Oh,
I
it
think
was
that
just,
your
it was the
problem-
worst show. This has been probably one of the worst showings from an opponent that I've had. I just had one of the worst ones last night with these two idiots, and they were bad, but this was terrible. Like I would have come in I would have at least had something. Just like anything would have worked. You just really had nothing. It was fucking
I didn't
terrible.
think we were gonna stick on this topic for 2 hours straight.
Well, then let's
You
come
guys-
back. Come back and do secularism and
back.
feminism, and God help
can
you on
do that.
those. That's going to be way worse for you than this.
I think I'll be all right.
All right, we'll see.
But yeah, we can. I'm fine with that. We can schedule that.
Okay. I'll work with both of you. We'll get round 2 set up. I'm happy to do it. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, so that we can kind of get the open panel and get some people on. We're not gonna go into crazy dumpster fire. I want to be able to let questions come in. Anybody specifically for Josie. So anybody who is joining, if you have questions for Andrew, hold tight. I want to just get questions in for Josie before, so that we can be respectful of her time. Dumpster fire. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and drop it in the chat, and I'm going to go ahead and pin that link to the top for you guys if you want to come in. And if everyone,
we have to activate. Sorry, I've never used StreamYard.
no, you don't have to touch anything. You just sit there and be pretty. You are perfectly fine where you are. The chat knows what they're doing. The people who do want to come on know what they're doing. Let me end that poll so that they can make sure that they see that. Okay. All right. All right, so I'm just gonna read a few of the bigger ones, if everyone can forgive me on that, and we'll make our way through the rest of the super chats throughout the panel. Okay, we've got Eclipse with the big 50 said Andrew's son is about to dunk. I'm not sure if that's referring to Sean Wick somehow, or maybe he's saying Andrew's son about to dunk. I don't get it. Okay, and then Brennan Ball says, "Thanks for doing this, Sarah. If I tell my stove jokes, does that mean I'm a comedian also?" That one actually
jokes funny.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Tell jokes to your stove?
Not usually.
I don't either, particularly. Christopher Scott says, I love her logic. I watched My Hero Academia, and henceforth my alter ego is Fat Ninja, and I shall begin my caped crusade against crime.
It has academia right in the name.
That's. I mean, My Hero Academia is not trying to promise you that there's like a real world war going on.
I guess it banks on the idea that people are intelligent enough to not think that they're going to get a degree from watching a fucking anime. I guess.
I think that people are intelligent enough to know that a cartoon is not real.
Maybe a cartoon which explores conflict and ideology, which is hilarious, by the way.
I'm not familiar with My Hero Academia, but I know that it's a cartoon.
I've got one of you backstage that your devices are not. It says your devices are not connected. You'll need to either jump back out and back in to unfuck yourself or something. I'm not sure what it's doing. Coden says, Josie, thank you for coming on and making yourself look like a complete fool. Much love to Sarah for hosting another great takedown. I don't think this was actually like a fairly good conversation in terms of it didn't get out of hand. You guys were very respectful to each other. I don't think it was all that bad.
Yeah, I mean, I fully expect that. I think that you're lovely, Sarah, but I know that you side with Andrew on more things. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that you're not completely biased, but I think you're lovely. I expect that your followers and his followers are not going to believe what I'm saying or, share the same views as me. I didn't expect to win anybody over with this.
It's like they have different ideologies.
Yeah, but we're not at war. How beautiful is that?
I don't know. It certainly feels like you came here for the purposes of engaging in ideological combat with me. In fact, to the degree in which you were trying to ascribe to everybody that there is no such thing even as ideological combat in the United States, and that the public at large isn't engaging in it, and yet here we are engaging in it, which is, I mean, it's ironic and hilarious at the same time.
If you
That's kind of the ultimate joke, isn't it? Kind of the ultimate joke here, I think, ultimately, is the irony of saying that there's no ideological war going on while you present a single side of an entirety of an ideological war. I think that's ironic.
This isn't a war, Andrew.
I know, because wars are shooting, except all the wars that don't.
No, because war has at least the threat of danger in it. There's no danger here.
Oh my god,
we're all safe.
Oh man, okay, yeah, I know. That's what. Then you can go and invest in French currency during World War II because people were still out buying their fucking croissants and riding their bicycles around while German soldiers were on the corner with rifles. Just because you have adapted to the normalcy bias does not mean there's not ideological warfare going on in the United States. That's just fucking absurd.
Again, there's not ideological war happening, and they don't need you to protect them. I've said that for the last 2 fucking hours.
I know they need you. They need you to come in and tell them that nothing's going on, guys. Everything's just fine. Nothing's happening. Everything's good. Just go to the grocery store. Chocolate milk comes from brown cows, you guys. Just go hang out and chill. Everything's fine. I'm gonna go get a margarita while the fucking world burns. Yeah, tell me another lie, lady.
I know that you putting on a Valley Girl accent makes you think that your argument is more credible, but it's not. Just because you can get louder than me, it doesn't make you right, Andrew. Your audience is not going to.
What makes me right is that I'm right. That's what makes me right.
You're not right. You're not going to
convince anybody. You're never going to convince anybody that the United States is not an ideological battlefield. That's the most absurd thing I've ever heard in my life. We're most absurd.
Ideological war. Nobody needs you to save them. But if you want to give Andrew $250, I'm not going to save anybody.
And I want to go to her OnlyFans and watch cosplay. You can go spend $47 so that you can figure out that the anime stockings are the right anime stockings for the thing. But there's no ideological war. Nobody needs Andrew here. I know. I get it. I know.
And going to whatever I do is not going to make you suddenly depressed.
All right. For purposes of time, I'm just going to do one more for now, and then we're going to go ahead. I've got a lot of avatars going on, but I know the bulk of them, so we're good. All right. And Chef Dylan says he's grifting the entire world. Yes, this is a global grift, ladies and gentlemen. We love it. I'm all here for it.
Not the whole world.
Not yet.
Fair enough.
Look out,
Fair
Antarctica.
enough.
This bitch is coming.
I bet somebody
And
has sent me a super chat from Antarctica before. I bet it's happened.
that's
would-
fair.
I would be shocked. I don't think they have the Wi-Fi capabilities to live stream.
Oh, well, you're crazy. Of course they do. They have satellite uplinks all over Antarctica. It's
If
one of
you've
the
gotten a
it's one of the
super chat
places
from
in the world.
Antarctica,
Yeah,
then Mazel.
Antarctica is like a technological marvel in many ways. Almost every single nation on Earth has treaties not to fight with each other in Antarctica because they're all working on technological projects which are there. So they probably have some of the best satellite uplinks. Remember, the satellite's not going through the snow; it's in outer space. You know that, right? It's in outer
how
space.
satellites work.
Are you
and
sure? Are you sure?
they're
Because you
spending
were
time-
concerned about their Wi-Fi a second ago. So
if they're spending their time and their technology on 2 hours of watching you argue with a comedian, then I am concerned with what we're funding in Antarctica.
I mean, in the future, hopefully they'll go to one of your shows where there was a comedian who spent 2 hours arguing with me. I mean, we can frame it whichever way you want.
Yeah, but they're not funded when they're here in the States where I'm doing shows. That's not what my tax dollars are going to.
So you wouldn't do you wouldn't do a Netflix special so people in Antarctica could watch it?
I would have a problem if they were spending their time and my tax dollars watching Netflix. Yes.
They're not there on your tax dollars. There's all sorts of private NGOs which send scientific expeditions to Antarctica all the time.
Well,
I don't know why you would assume that the people who are there are just suddenly lose all fucking inclination to do anything with media. I mean, it's just
They
silly.
are also partially funded by our tax dollars, but we can move on.
The military installations are, yeah.
I'm not and the scientific explorations that are funded by grants, which are funded through our tax dollars. But I'm not trying to.
Some of them, yes.
Yeah, some of them. Anyway,
Last
no
one.
shade to Antarctica.
Last one, since we're on the move for time.
Oh, yeah.
Vincent says, no knowledge on any topic, no evidence to prove her accusations. You know that if an ideology gets into power today, it may not affect normalcy today, but will in years to come. This is actually the end stage of ideological subversion.
And we didn't actually get to debate our ideologies because
And,
we were
you know,
stuck on
and
Well,
we
they
will.
don't even exist. There's no ideological battle to debate.
There's no war, Andrew.
Yeah, there's no ideological war to debate. There's no
We have
ideological battle.
ideological differences, but we're not at war.
Let's bring a true ideological war to the screen then. I've got everyone backstage. Anybody else who wants to go against Andrew or whatever, anybody else, the link is pinned. I think I got everybody for Josie questions now. Here we go.
I did not expect you to have a war themed graphic. That is very funny, actually.
I love
very
it.
funny.
Thank
That was
you.
great.
Most people like that jam session there. That's probably the only one that the most of the Crucible people like. I think they hate all of my other stuff, but it's my chat's favorite. Everybody backstage starts jamming out to it. They all have a lot of fun with it. So it's good. It's fun
That
and
was
it sets the pace. Brian, you were first in line back there. I know you got something to get off your chest for open panels, so let's go ahead and kick it off. Remember, we want to try to keep this as concise as possible. We have under 15 minutes to go, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you perfect.
Oh, yeah. Do get to
Perfect.
give more of my time to Brian. Hello, honey.
So I only tuned in like 30 minutes ago, so I missed some of the debate, but there was a portion of the discussion you were having with Andrew, and you were discussing your OnlyFans. And you said that you deactivated your OnlyFans?
I thought that I had. I guess maybe I haven't. I'll do it right now.
Well, hold on. So
if I have it.
Yeah, that's fine. You thought that you did, but you were playing kind of coy and you weren't sure if you had deactivated it.
I thought that I deactivated like 2 days ago, like very recently. I made one final post and then I thought I had deactivated it after that.
Wait, so you deactivated it 2 days ago after you were called out in the chat for being active on it 2 days ago?
I don't have access to the chat. I'm in a studio right now. I don't have chat. My sound engineer girl might, but
the way that you were engaging in that conversation, the framing of it was like, oh yeah, I deactivated it months ago. I don't even remember, but you were last active on your OnlyFans 2 days ago.
Yes, when I do believe that I've deactivated it 2 days ago.
And it's still it's the first link on your link tree. So if you go to your Instagram or your other social media platforms, why do you still include it as the first link on your link tree?
I haven't updated my link tree.
Okay.
Because I haven't updated my link tree.
Okay.
So I just need to do that.
I don't know. It seems a little strange, or the way you framed it. Oh, I deactivated it.
I do believe that I did. Yeah. But I'm sorry if I'm not framing that well.
What can you explain? What happens to your OnlyFans when you deactivate it?
Yeah, you then it goes over the period of 30 days. It's still technically up. You have a chance to undeactivate it within those 30 days if you want, and then after those 30 days, it just shuts down completely, and you get whatever money you had in there.
Okay, because on the
I have deactivated and canceled it before.
Because it says back for a limited time only. So when did you become back for a limited time only?
February, March. I finally had a nice 3-week gap in from work. So I had more time. I didn't have to travel as extensively. So I was able to focus more on cosplay and other stuff. And I was like, all right, I'll do this again because I finally have time, because I had it in 2021. I think the end of 2021 to like the end of 2022, and then I just didn't have time for it because I had to travel for work too much.
Sounds like a grift to me.
Okay, so
I canceled it when I didn't have time for it anymore.
So as recently as 2 days ago, you were grifting on OnlyFans.
I wouldn't call it a grift. I had time for it, and then if I don't have time for it and I can't give you the product that I'm trying to deliver, then
you're still a grift. No, wait, hold on. You're even grifting further then, because your OnlyFans is still technically available. It's $25 a month, and you're saying it's deactivated, but people are still able to pay the $25 a month fee. So you're grifting then. Your OnlyFans is literally up. It's literally up.
Yeah, if you go to my OnlyFans, I'm sure you'll still be able to see it for the next 30 days, but after 30 days it goes away.
So you're telling me OnlyFans is the only social media platform where, like, for some reason they keep it up for 30 days, like you can't take it down immediately?
Yes, because
you have take it down.
Because you have active subscribers who have paid for that month. So until the last subscriber expires, it turns off their subscription at that point. But when the last subscriber expires, then it officially closes your account. But because people have paid for that month, it's still going to give them that month.
I don't know. It kind of seems like you're a grifter.
I mean, I disagree, because it's going away, and I'm not stealing anything from anybody.
Are you still messaging people on there?
I've never messaged people on there. I think there's probably 400 unread messages. I've never responded to one.
I don't know. It seems like you're a grifter.
Okay. I mean, I disagree, because I'm giving people the product, the thing that they're paying for. I'm not trying to harm anybody.
So am I.
Well, I don't actually believe that you believe you're a comedian.
I mean, I do sold out weekends at comedy clubs.
No, but I don't believe it, though. I don't think you actually believe that.
I did that last weekend. I was in Appleton, Wisconsin. I do. There's physical evidence that I was there. Sold out shows. I will be at the Port Comedy Club in Baltimore next weekend.
You didn't say one funny thing. You didn't say one funny thing on the 9-hour podcast that you were complaining
I wasn't
about
there as
earlier.
a comedian, because you made me sign.
I thought you came there to troll.
Initially,
Is that what
yes.
you
And
said?
then you
Okay.
made me sign an appearance release right before taping, and I read that appearance release, and it said that if you troll or turn this into a joke, you reserve the right to fine us $10,000. And I was already there, and I had already cleared my evening, so I was like, well, I'm not going to do that. That sucks.
Hold on. It doesn't prevent people from saying funny things. You're a comedian. 9 hours, not one funny thing you said the entire show. I was very disappointed. Very disappointed. But final thing, and I want to let the other people go. You said I'm a different person. Like the cameras are off. You know,
Yes.
I'm one type of way. Then during the show, I'm a jerk. And then after the show, I'm
correct.
Okay. So what are you talking about?
I'm talking about you took on this, you know, the combative persona and like trying to attack these girls or attack whatever they're saying during the filming. And then as soon as the filming wrapped, you went over and you comforted one girl and you talked to her about her daughter and how you didn't, she was like, okay, thank you for not bringing that up on this. And you were like, oh yeah, no, I get it. And I've made so much money tonight from this, surely. Like you were attacking her during the thing. And then you were chummy.
Never said that. Never. Hold on. I never bragged to the guests after the show about how much money I made.
No, she did.
Oh, she did. Okay.
And you had to laugh along with her.
Wait,
it was
stark comparison.
Why weren't you meaner, Brian? Why
most-
weren't you
most
more
of-
of a dick?
What happened on the guest that say you're really mean? You're really mean after.
Why weren't you more of a
think
jerk?
if I may, I think it's reasonable to believe that most
do only have,
content
like,
creators.
4 minutes. I apologize.
You are perfectly fine. We'll be respectful of your time. I will say it is reasonable that most content creators do have a front-facing persona, right? We do reserve the right to keep some of ourselves off the screen for a lot of reasons, because it exposes vulnerabilities or our kindness, or if we have emotions like that we're not allowed to do. I think it's fair to say that being one piece of yourself on screen.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, look, I've known Brian now for a couple of years, and he's really not that different off podcast than on. If depending on what it is that you're talking about. If it's the case that on the podcast you're talking about, hang on, let me make the point, and then you can refute it. If you go on the podcast and you say, look at my nails, they're great, blah 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 blah, Brian will be like, yeah, okay, just like he would in IRL. If you tried to argue with Brian on contentious points, he would argue those contentious points the same way that he does on whatever. This whole idea that before the show starts, nobody's arguing contentious points and all the women are talking about their tops and shit like that, as though that's evidence that there's a completely different persona, I think is fucking absurd. I think it's absurd.
That he's dropped the contentious things after the show wraps.
Wait. So this is what I would compare it to. Have you ever seen a UFC fight where these guys spend they spend 15 or 30, 25 minutes beating the living hell out of each other. And then as soon as the final bell rings, they shake hands, they give each other a hug, and they say, good fight, whatever. In that same vein, yeah, during the show, I get into heated debates. That doesn't oblige me to like perpetually be a dick or a jerk or combative towards somebody. I like to say thank you for coming on. I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming. Shake their hand. And I think that's totally within the bounds of, I could have these discussions on the show and it can get heated. And then after the show, I could be like, hey, it was good meeting you. We disagreed on these things, but no hard feelings. Wish you the best. And I can also be polite.
That's not what I witnessed, Brian.
Well, good example of this. The guy who's directly underneath me right now, Corinth. Corinth, would you say that you're 180 degrees away from me ideologically?
I would say like 540 because I'm gonna go farther than that. But I don't know the exact opposite.
I would say we're friends at this point.
Yeah.
Have we had the most drag out fights ever, both publicly and in the Discord? Like,
oh yeah, there were
fights?
Back in the good old days. It was like 7 hours till 5 a.m.
Fighting about various ideological issues. The thing is, though, is that when we're not fighting about ideological issues, you can still enact a sense of decorum and kindness. Is that not correct?
Oh yeah, I think we've been doing that on Discord these days too. We've been playing Sons of the Forest for like 6 hours a night or something.
Yep. The thing is that I think that there's a distinction. I think that, like, I've talked with Brian behind the scenes, and we've argued even behind the scenes about various like micro issues and things like this. If you don't have contentious issues, why is it that you have the expectation that somebody's going to bring those contentious issues to bear? The show is about the contentious issues around dating. And of course, it's going to get heated. And of course, there's going to be various ideologies which are going to engage. I think it's fucking absurd to think, oh, it's all just a persona. Give me a break.
I saw the persona draw. Okay, let me say this because I have literally like 30 seconds before I have to leave and then I have to catch my train. I am not saying that you're allowed to, if your friends offline, whatever. I'm not saying any of that. I am saying that his persona actively changed, and the way that not just, oh, he's suddenly friendly to the girls and there's a level of decorum. I'm saying that he was laughing along with them as they were talking about grifting the audience and creating this character. He was laughing along with that.
Slander.
But it was happening with the chick in the pink with the big tits that I was sitting next to. That's just the reality. And I'm sure. Stop talking, dude. I have literally like 20 seconds at this point.
Okay.
I'm saying that Andrew and Brian are in the same fucking grift. It's the same shit. You're just riling people up to make people mad, to tune in, to listen to you own these chicks, and then you get money, and then you get views. It's not good or healthy for anybody. That's been the entire crux of my argument.
You're the same view of saying that everybody else is a grifter except for people who believe like you do and inside of your ideology, and everybody's disingenuous except for you. Only you are the most genuine person. Everybody else is a grifter.
You yelling doesn't make you right.
You cutting me off doesn't make me right after I let you finish either.
Cutting me off. What I'm saying,
I didn't cut you off. You were done.
I have disagreed from the beginning that people who like Destiny or people who might be closer to my ideology, people on the left, whatever, they're grifters too.
I know everyone's a grifter except you.
No,
everyone's a grifter but you. We know.
And makes money off of trying to stoke the fears and the separation of people. That is the grift. And
Josie, one joke. One joke. One joke.
One joke. Yeah, can you give us one? Can you give us one joke before you go?
I will be out. I'm not giving you any jokes for free. I will be out in Santa Barbara in November. Good night, everybody.
Sarah, can we ask some questions?
Thank you.
She's gone.
Leave her alone.
Well, hang on. I did want to thank her for the debate.
We can. I will.
Hi, Brian. How you doing, man? How you been?
Hey, Andrew. I'm doing well, man. How about you?
I'm doing well. Always nice to see you, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that was funny.
I wish I could have asked her a question because I came in here as my capacity of as an assistant professor in sociology, and I'm really embarrassed and humiliated with the way that someone will come, quote a study, and they don't know what they are talking about every single time.
Every single time, bro.
Every single time, as a sociology professor, I feel like just jumping into the middle of the road, just offing myself. I hate it. I don't.
Okay,
like
hang on. But am I right? Hang on. I gotta ask you, dude.
Yeah.
Nothing on methodology. Couldn't cite what the study's name was. She didn't read the fucking study, right? She didn't read.
She doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about.
Yeah.
She just comes out and she says,
"Just ask you this: did she read the study? She didn't read it, did she?"
She doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. There's nothing like that. I don't even know what she's even talking about. She just comes and she says, hate watching leads to increase in cortisol, increase in adrenaline, increase in high blood pressure, increase in your dick. Everything is rising. Your dick is rising. Your cortisol is rising. Everything is rising. And then you're like, okay, where are the studies that? Again, she came in with a narrative, because if you listen to the way she's talking, it's almost as if she's reading a script. The problem is that even if you come with a narrative, you have to come with evidence. You need to know the studies that support your narrative. I have nothing against people having narratives. You need to have empirical support for your evidence. And every time you pose as if you are citing a sociological study, and I hear people talk about that nonsense, and
by the way, you can learn all of this on Debate University, which me and Brian Atlas pioneered. You can go and you can actually learn this stuff so that when you come to a debate, you don't fucking embarrass yourself.
but Andrew, the problem is that I'm not going to get a certificate when I come to Debate University. You're not giving me a certificate, so why should I come for it? She says you're not giving certificates.
Look, hey, not everybody needs that, but some people, right? Maybe they want to engage better in this field. This is a way I can at least tell them to show up with the fucking study they're citing. Don't you think that that's at least, I mean, if all you took from the value of the course is that you should show up with the study you cited, then me and Brian must have done a pretty good job, right?
that would be one thing. At least, at the very least, if people make a claim, you should cite the study that supports your claim. These are things I even teach my students in class. You can't just cite a claim and just say this is bad for you and just leave it as that and just expect everybody to believe. And I like the way you argue with these people. Every time they make this claim, please ask them, where is the evidence? 9 out of 10 times, they don't know what they are talking about. They know nothing about what they are talking about. I've heard so many of them so many times, and it brings so many bad PR to sociologists because we're just looking at all this nonsense and we're like, why are these people making all these claims? We didn't make any
hang on,
studies.
Your field is inundated with the worst of the worst, though, dude, and you know it. Like, it's inundated with the worst of the worst because they have political ideologies. They have political ideologies, dude.
I'm not going to come here and defend them. There are bad actors in every field, and like my field, yeah, there are bad actors. I've seen bad studies. I've seen horrible studies where someone studied like 50
No, I'm not even talking about bad studies.
Yeah.
We get that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about people who misrepresent studies that they've read as though it makes their claim for them when it clearly doesn't. You know, they use them like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, right? They're like Blue Eyes White Dragon study versus my fucking, eight man fucking Power 10 fucking study. They use them like fucking Yu-Gi-Oh cards, bro. Okay, they do. Am I wrong? They do.
You've activated my craft study.
Let me give you an example. There is a particular one that people always cite. They would say things like single women are much more happier, or much more this than married women, and that study has been cited. That's claim, not study. That claim has been cited in so many places that I cannot believe it.
Yeah, and it's not true. The evidence doesn't show that.
False.
It's totally false. Yeah, totally false.
Eugene,
nonsense.
Eugene, could you read the super chat for me, please?
But I like Eugene. Eugene's great.
You should ask it to me, particularly. Start with
Why
Warren.
are you gay?
Do it again. One more time. We're gonna complete silence.
Okay, let me say like that guy. Why are you gay?
It was perfect.
Okay, that was pretty good.
You are gay.
XQ comes in with a big 20. Says there's no war in
Bossing say.
Oh, thank you.
But Andrew, I want to ask you a question. You know the Salvation Army?
Do I know what?
Do you know the Salvation Army?
Yeah.
Do they have a literal army? Do they carry guns and knives?
No, but it's a war on poverty. Right?
Yeah,
but it's a war on poverty, but that doesn't exist.
Yeah, that means we're arming up against
That's a really good fucking point you just made, man. The Salvation Army, they come in with machine guns to blow away poverty.
Heavy artillery, very heavy artillery to go fight wars.
You're 10 times more funny than the fucking comedian who was just on here.
And the lady was standing on this idea of debate university, like she was making a point, like she was saying something really insightful. Some people are not intelligent enough for the kind of conversation they want to have. I don't go around debating, even though I'm a faculty professor, because I'm not intelligent for certain conversations. And she stood on it like as if debate university was supposed to give you a certificate. And I kept looking at the lady like, what the hell are you talking about?
Oh, it's so ridiculous.
You should have asked her about Salvation Army.
You bring up a good point, too. And in Debate University, we go over that. Like, look, you don't have to argue things that you don't know anything about. You can just say, hey, look, I don't know about that. I'm not going to engage in the debate. We can move into things that I do know about if you do want to engage in a debate, which is fucking, reasonable. It's like reasonable and rational.
People should be humble enough to just say, I don't know what Debate University, like what she was doing, as she was using the one case of university and higher education and using university in the sense of like just general learning things. Do you go over that fallacy too?
We did. I did go over it. I did say, well, it has the word university, so that must mean you get some sort of certificate or something like that. It's absurd. The thing is that the crux of all of this really revolves around this, fellas. And it's very simple. I know Brian probably has to go. It's great to see you too, Brian. But the crux of all of this really moved around with this one issue, which is the idea of me grifting is that my audience is so fucking stupid that they could never ascertain that they were not going to get some sort of accredited degree from a course which is marketed to make you a more skilled online informal debater. That is the most insane fucking shit I've ever heard. And I don't actually know how to even deal with the idea of how you came to that conclusion.
She reminded me of Drax.
Only the Rumble people are retards, not the like Rumble. Sure, maybe some of them might have thought that, but man, the overarching audience, no fucking way. There ain't no way.
A couple of the day shifters, based on the last few.
Maybe a couple of day shifters. Maybe
She reminded me of Drax from Guardian of the Galaxy, taking everything literal, except she just wasn't funny.
Andrew, you have the patience of a saint, because it takes the patience of a saint to keep arguing against her when she kept raising that ridiculous nonsense called the point of debate university. I couldn't even stand. I had to take my earpiece off and just walk away.
Listen. Let them reiterate it time and time again, because that's actually funny.
You should have asked about Salvation Army. You missed that.
Why not university if university in name?
I want to pass it over. I want to see if Brick, Kay, Defnot, Corinth had any, or even Eli, Azrael had any thoughts to add in aside from the debate university or so on and so forth.
On debate university, I haven't taken your courses or anything, but shameless plug, I did make a video so that if you don't want to pay the money to take the course, you can just watch my video and you can debate just like Andrew. Guaranteed 100%, I promise. I'll even give you a certificate. There's no certificate. But I do wonder why like we stayed so long on the whole like, are you a grifter thing? Because that was like hours of going in circles of like, you're a grifter. No, I'm not a grifter.
She wasn't willing to concede the point.
Andrew,
to be fair, we did have another debate like this. Actually, just about a year ago, Andrew. Somebody made the claims that Andrew was a liar and a grifter as well, and that was a full like 2-3 hours of very similar talking points.
Yeah, it just seemed like there was like other stuff planned, and it seemed like that was going to come first, and then maybe like the grifter stuff was going to be like an extra.
The entirety of the debate, the entirety of the debate call out from her on Twitter, X, to me, and Sarah can confirm this, was that I was a grifter. Right? These other the secondary and third debate prompts were tangential to that prompt.
Okay. I must have misunderstood the way it was phrased. It seemed more like the other thing was an extra. It's really weird to make like a whole debate prompt of am I a grifter? Because that's
it's really weird weird to me that it's weird to you. Because I'm willing to take on my detractors doesn't seem weird to me. It seems like I'm a person who's willing to actually hear what you have to say and refute it with the actual information.
I would say this isn't the first like attack Andrew's channel or attack what Andrew does show that.
Nor is it the first that Brian Atlas has had, the first time that people have attacked his show. And then when we are able to actually confront them about these things, we watch them collapse in real time. It's just 90% of attacks online are fucking bullshit. I don't know what to tell you. They're fucking bullshit.
Sure. It just seems like more of an opinion thing, but I'm not going to harp on it. It's just like,
well, it's not. Hang on.
Kind of like
yes and no. I think that you can say almost anything is an opinion thing, right? But there could be actual good evidences that I was grifting by the definition of grifting that she gave. She just didn't fucking have any of them. But I'm always willing to hear them out. If you have actual evidences of me grifting or giving a product to somebody that they're not getting, or fleecing people for money that they're not willing to give because they're enjoying an entertaining channel, I'm willing to engage with all of those things. But
and Andrew,
that's how honest people stay honest, right?
I have an argument in favor of that, Andrew. One of your Canadians you hire has been very slow on fixing the website issues that cause
people to fixed now, bro. All fixed now.
I'm just saying, there was a good week and a half where Mr. L was
it's true. It's true. There was a time for about a week and a half. There was an additional plugin we put on the site to make it more convenient for people. It backfired. We had some issues with the site, and then he worked his ass off and got it fixed. I know. Sometimes there's going to be some.
A week ago, she had this defeater for you, Andrew.
I know. What was I thinking?
Corinth, that statement you just made has given us more evidence of Andrew grifting than the whole hour or 2 hours of debate.
True. That's true.
And that lady was engaging with Andrew. I doubt that lady knows the meaning of evidence. I doubt it. I don't think she does.
I want to open it up to Kay. Did you have some thoughts to add in here?
Yeah, I think that I think that in a debate, if you accuse your opponent of lying without cause, that in itself is bad faith, right?
I'd say it could be deemed that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I think that I think
You have to
I'm
have
not, I'm not
evidence for your claim.
convinced
You can do
that
it.
I'm not convinced that she didn't, that what the evidence she put forth wasn't legitimate evidence. Basically, you know, like the whole, I would have to see more of Andrew's content to know what to be sure of that, because she basically, you know, referred to the way Andrew carries himself in this space, which if that is the way he carries himself, then I could see the argument that he's a grifter. But yeah.
But it's about due diligence. If you're going to make the argument that someone's a grifter, you should look at what they are doing. You should look at their products. You should try their products, see the quality of those products, and then make a critical evaluation that, okay, this is good, this is bad, and then come with that evidence to the debate and attack Andrew with them. Maybe debate university might be a clump of nonsense. It is very possible that that's the case. Do your due diligence, take some courses in there, see what's going on in there, and then come with your evidence. Not that, oh, you're a grifter. Why do you think he's a grifter? Because I just think he's a grifter. Deep in my heart, and in my soul, and in the bottom of my spirit.
But everybody knows that. But everybody knows that I'm a grifter, right? Everybody knows it. So that's what matters here.
Of course. Yeah. Everybody knows it deep in their soul that Andrew is
the truth is that the online field is just like any other. If you bring value, you get paid handsomely for it. If you don't bring value, you don't. It's really that simple. Are there people who fleece their audiences based on scams and things like that? Yes. They don't seem to last very long. Once that stuff comes to light, I don't blame anybody for kind of attacking those people viciously. Many such large creators have fleeced their audiences based on promises of things that they don't deliver on after an audience has paid for those items, right? And that's just not the case objectively here. That would be a very bad business model, one. And two, the entire point of me being the best grifter on the internet is that it's satirically pointing out that you can do business in a good way and not actually grift anybody. If you're an entertaining persona and you people enjoy watching your content, yes, you'll probably make some money online. But that's few and far between where you find those creators.
So there is one thing that you said, Eugene, I don't necessarily agree with. You mentioned that you should try out the product. I would say that you don't necessarily need to try out the product to understand what a scam is. On the other hand,
I can reach out to those who have tried it out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know,
you should get an experience of that what that product is.
Right. You should have some type of experiential, I guess, data, something to argue from. I wouldn't say you need to actually get the product, but at the same time,
you can meet with people who have taken it or ask them.
Brick, he's saying in order to tell it's a scam, we have to send his cousin the money first.
Right, yes.
To use it and buy guns.
Okay, hang on. That was funny, bro. That was objectively funny. Ladies and gentlemen, I do have to get off of here. Brian, it was really good to see you, man. I've noted that you're doing good things over there still. Why don't you tell the audience where they can find you before we go, man?
Oh yeah, me?
Yeah,
I mean, they probably youtube.com/whatever at whatever on pretty much every single platform, Instagram, Twitter, or I guess X, everywhere.
And
are you guys wrapping up?
Okay.
Yeah, well,
Andrew,
I don't know. I don't think they're wrapping up. I do have some other engagements this evening I have to get to.
Andrew, you want to stay and play for open panel, Brian? Sarah style?
Andrew, since you have all the Andrew, since you have all these softball debates where you just come and crush people, please, the Crucible channel, the Crucible crew, please, I just want you to just give Andrew an L for no good reason. Nobody's going to give him an L since that only since that L. We've not had Andrew have an L. So Crucible crew, everyone, please just hand Andrew an L for no good reason. Give him an L. Thank you very much.
Bullshit. I'm out of here. You can find me on the Crucible. I'm out. Have a good night, Brian. Fuck the rest of you fucking dicks, dude. I'm out of here.
The producer's going to kill me. He's trying to kill me.
You do not know the way. You do not know the way.
Fair enough. And okay, you want definitely not wants to boot Eugene. And she's gonna take your place. You're going back to the backstage, and I'm waiting for one other spot.
It's too late now. I don't care anymore.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's kind of when hold on, Ryan. Let me kick you back out because I was holding that spot for someone. Sorry. Hold on. Okay. What happens sometimes when people are on a time limit, the open panel runs a little bit differently. And I got you. Are you still staying on cam back there? Thank you. When open panel runs a little differently, it gets a little harder to manage only because we are on a time crunch, and then I don't get to the super chats, which makes me sad. I do apologize. Thank you, Lost, for telling me that's the only way Mr. E can communicate with me at this point. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention to you, Mr. E. Go ahead, Mr. E. I'm sure you got something to say.
I just want to say the next time somebody has these sort of criticisms for Andrew or the Crucible or the debate course, just DM me. I could have answered all these questions for you and saved you all this embarrassment. And also, Corinth, you're fucking dead, bro. Like, you're dead. Like, I'm going to find you in real life. No, I'm just kidding. That was satire.
Well, sometimes the videos don't get uploaded all the time. That breaks my heart.
Yep.
It's all your fault, Mr.
Oh, we're gonna make this. We're gonna do this right now.
You are now on the chopping block, Mr. E. This is all your fault. Remember, anything.
I'm literally sitting here with my hands behind my head.
It's always your fault, Mr. E. It's always your fault.
Yeah,
I think it's
basically.
Mr. L at this point, Sarah.
You know what? Kick him off. I want to see if this works. Kick him off right now. Get rid of him.
You have to. Somebody has to pay to boot him.
Oh.
I gotta pay to boot him.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll remember that, Sarah.
Oh yeah. What are you gonna do about it?
I guess we'll find out.
You're supposed to grift the chat, Mr. E. Hello.
He will
he
break each and every one of your kneecaps unless you pay to boot me. He will find you, the viewer, the person listening to this.
I'll come to your house.
Who's going to be Mr. E's Captain Save-A-Ho right now and pay to boot Corinth?
Nobody.
Somebody's got to do it.
No, it's fine. No, you don't have to actually kick.
Who's going to be
Mr.
L's Save-A-Ho?
They boot Corinth even without you asking. They boot him all the time.
We need Mr. L's Save-A-Ho.
Hey, Dave, those Gundams behind you, send me one and I'll put it in the whatever studio.
Those aren't Gundams; they're Transformers.
Oh,
so
fuck that! Never mind. I don't want it.
And shout out to Angry Man. He was on the last two open panels, and we've decided to actually bring him back. He'll be here not next Thursday, but the Thursday after as a feature. But Angry Man says, shout out to Brian for having my guy. Oh, what? Philosophical?
Philosophical. Thank you, Angry Man. Appreciate it.
Philosophical on the show. There you go.
Transformers are better than Gundams.
Transformers. Oh my god.
It's too bad that Andrew left right before I got back on. I was gonna see if he would have like a debate with me, since apparently he debates with anybody, because people keep saying I should debate him on rights.
On rights? What about him?
What do you mean? What about them? He has this whole thing of like.
What is your position on rights? Is what I'm asking you. Like.
Not his. Obviously.
So you believe they exist, like in nature?
I believe they exist as a concept that's real enough for it to matter. And
how do they?
Women should beg men for rights. Like
That's not his position. Oh, so you're just a fucking retard. Okay, I got it. Cool. That's not his position. That's literally not his position.
Him saying that as that being his position.
That women, no. So rights come from force. No, listen. No. Do you want to know the position, or you want to yap like a stupid broad? What do you want to do? Pick one.
Oh shit.
Wow.
You want to know the position, or do you want to fucking run your mouth?
Right.
Which one?
We got Wilson Nuthanger on the panel.
Oh,
yeah, Andrew's the nice one. Andrew's the nice one.
Okay.
He's the nice
Do you want to know the position, or do you want to just fucking run your mouth? Which one?
Just calm down and tell me what you want to say. Jesus Christ.
I'm calm.
Okay.
I'm asking you a question.
I was not lying when I told you that's what he would do to you.
Can you go ahead or what? Like, chill, Jesus.
Can I go ahead and answer the question for you? No, I can't, sweetheart. Now, do you want to answer the question so we can move on?
What?
Would you like to know his position? Yes?
I'm supposed to answer that question?
Okay.
What is wrong with you, bro?
He knows every position that Andrew takes.
All right. So his position is not women should beg men for rights. It's that rights only exist via force. That force is only really applied via men. Therefore, without men, women have no rights.
That's
your rights are derived from force. All rights are derived from force.
Okay,
that's a very, very simple, very simple overview. Right?
I disagree with all of that. So, and I do have quotes of him saying that.
Which parts do you disagree with?
All of that.
In which way do you disagree?
I don't think that rights are derived from force, and I don't think.
What are the rights derived from then?
Women should beg men for rights.
Okay, well, I didn't say anything about begging. So, what are rights derived from then?
And I wanted to argue with Andrew, which is why I quoted him, not you. I don't know what you think. Sorry.
All right. So, what do you think rights are derived from, hun?
Hun.
The general.
Yeah, I said hun. I'm being intentionally rude here. That's what it's called.
Call me hun.
Okay. I feel a little bit on the spot, but generally I would say.
Well, you're the one that wanted to debate Andrew. If you thought like I'm a way easier W than he is.
Right
not
He's
literally right this second.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you're gonna have a much easier time winning against me than Andrew.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. I have to go. But thank you so much, Sarah, for having me. Mystery, you're a fucking legend.
You're a legend.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Never mind.
Good to meet you on the panel there, Brian.
Yeah, good to finally meet you, man.
Brian.
We should have you. That was fire, man. We should have you on the show sometime. But yeah, thank you for having me. I hope you guys have a good night.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for popping on.
All right, cheers, bro. All right, so now I'm very curious. Where are rights derived from, if not from force?
Mutual agreement and respect. For the most
okay, and when somebody decides to hold on.
Somebody decides to do something naughty, which is very rare. Force is a
it's very rare. So hold on. Let me get this right. You think crime is very rare?
I think it's more rare to have violent crime in a way that infringes.
Well, hold on. There's a lot more ways to violate rights without being violent. If I steal from you, breaking into your garage, I violated your rights. I've not been violent towards you. Property damage is violence?
Wait, I'm kind of
interesting. So you think property violence is, or property, what do we say, messing with somebody's property is violence?
I think if you physically damage stuff, that's being violent.
Okay, so let's say I pick the lock and get into your garage and steal your things. Am I committing violence on you?
I wouldn't call it violence colloquially.
So I can violate your rights without being violent. Good. Now moving on. So most rights violations, as you said, are violence. Is like you just kind of contradicted yourself already. So
no, I don't
that's
think
good.
that most rights violations are necessarily violence because
you think they're crime, right? But then you said violent crime specifically. And then I was able to get you to contradict that in 10 seconds.
Violent crime. It can be violent crime. It doesn't always have to be violent.
Yes, thank you for making my point that crime is a violation of rights. And you said rights violations are rare, to which I countered, so you think crime is rare?
You could have a violation.
And then you countered with, well, it's only violent crime. You see how you wrapped yourself up in a pretzel in less than a minute?
Right?
While we're talking about wrapping things, the Raging Tomato is going to be shutting down here momentarily, and we're just going to be shifting over to the Gauntlet.
Oh my God! Does that mean we have to watch another one of these fucking intros? Sorry.
No, you don't. You don't. Are you?
I'm just teasing you, Sarah.
Are you in a really big room? It's like super
Yes.
echoey. Like you're okay. Just making.
I
sure
am in a big room. It's the mansion that I pay for with all this drifting.
Hates furniture.
Anyways, while Mr. E sits and cries in his mansion, we're going to be shifting over to the Gauntlet here in about 2 minutes. I'm going to continue dropping the link in the chat as well as the mods. If you want to shift now, go ahead and do it now. If not, just hang on tight and we'll raid you over. Harry wants to boot the mass martyrer, which would be definitely not. I wanted to at least ensure Mr. E and Def Not, we're done with the conversation unless you had a little more or something, Mr. E, with her.
Nah, that's fine. I think we've demonstrated enough that she has no idea what the fuck she's talking about.
I think you have. I think you just yelled at me a lot and didn't listen to a word I said.
I didn't yell at you once, hon, but go ahead and cry me a fucking river about having a little bit of a harsh tone with you. Oh, pity me.
Okay.
Let me guess, you're also a fucking feminist, but I'm supposed to treat you with all this like extra care and consideration. Get the fuck out of here. Fucking retards. All right, kick me off. I'm gonna fucking burn your TOS here in about 10 seconds. Okay.
Calm down. Jesus.
No, I'm sorry, lady, but stupid people annoy the shit out of me. I deal with them every day professionally, so I'm all out of patience, hon.
Okay, so based on one opinion about rights, you just decided that I'm stupid and a feminist, apparently?
Yeah, it's enough. Sometimes one is enough.
Okay.
Thank you for the demonstration. I don't think you're a complete idiot. Maybe there's some things that you believe that aren't entirely stupid, but this ain't one of them.
Wow. Okay, so you're just right about everything. You didn't actually hear.
I'm sorry. When did I say I was right about everything, or did I just say I'm right about this?
Like somebody disagrees with you.
I'm sorry.
You're just stupid.
Did I say that I was right about everything, or that I'm right about this?
Well, what are you wrong about?
In this conversation, nothing.
In general.
Lots of things.
For instance.
I think some women are smart enough to debate. Clearly, I'm wrong.
Wow.
I mean, I'm waiting for one of you to prove it, but every time I try, you let me down.
Okay, you just seem like real mad, so...
Oh, good comeback. Good comeback, hon. Call me mad again.
Rights, or do you just...
You're so mad!
Whatever it is that you're doing.
Mogging you is what it's called.
Okay. Well, I did intend to have the conversation with a nice one.
I can't even fucking take you seriously. I'm sorry. My bad. This is my fault. I've been so mean. I should have known I wasn't going to get much, but you know, it is what it is, I guess.
Okay. Jesus Christ. Well, thanks for coming down. I guess I'm booted or whatever, but I appreciate the time. The challenge still stands if Andrew wants to debate without yelling at me.
Join the Discord and we can actually we'll have a proper conversation about it if you want.
Sure. Yeah, I'd like that.
All right. Links in the description on the Crucible.
Woman
YouTube.
I can also invite you, Def Not, if you want me to DM you that.
Yeah, sure. Sure, I'll take it.
You might need a moderator for that conversation because it's going to go a little bit off the walls.
Yeah, some people seem like real angry and like really.
You, Mr. E.
Lady, you have not seen me angry. This is me, like just joking around and having fun. If you can't handle a little bit of aggression, what are you doing in the debate space? Maybe like go to a fucking nursery or a preschool or something.
Requires different rules. Okay, just treat her like
holy
everybody
shit.
else. Different
Oh, the man I tried to do blood sports debate with wasn't nice enough to me.
For just a moment, let me take control back over my panel. If you are watching on the tomato side, we're going to go ahead and shut that side down now. You will be rated over to the Gauntlet if you haven't already gone over. Thank you so kindly.